The sun has gone. The light is leaving the world very slowly. It is the year 120 or perhaps 121. It does not matter. The years flow like water, indistinguishable from one another in the grand river of time. We are in a Roman province. It is far from the noise of the capital. It is far from the heat of the desert. Here, it is winter. The sky is a heavy, pale gray. It hangs low over the stone roofs. There are no clouds, just a thick, unbroken sheet of cold mist that signals the end of the day. Breathe. Listen to the silence. There is nothing you need to do right now. There is nothing you need to remember. The history of battles and emperors is written in books that are closed and put away. Tonight, there is only the quiet routine of ordinary people doing ordinary things in a time long past. Imagine a stone wall. It is rough, cold, and solid. It has stood there for 50 years. It will stand there for 50 more. The cold air of the evening presses against the stone. If you were to touch it, the chill would travel through your fingertips, a slow reminder of the season. It is the time of day the Romans called vesper, the evening. The work is done. The tools are laid down. The hammers are silent. The carts have stopped rolling. In the small garrison town, the streets are emptying. The cold is a physical weight. It is not a storm. It is not a blizzard. It is just a stillness that freezes the ground. The Romans believed that the winter was a time to conserve energy, a time to hold the heat inside. This is why the title of our story speaks of forbidden things, not because of laws written on scrolls, but because of the laws of nature as they understood them. The physicians, the wise men in their linen robes, taught that the body contained a vital heat, a sacred fire within. In the summer, this fire could burn bright, but in the deep winter, in the biting cold, the fire had to be protected. To touch another, to engage in passion, to move too quickly was to risk opening the pores, to risk sweating, to risk letting the cold air steal the vital heat. And so the kings, the soldiers, and the farmers alike, they learned to be still. They learned to avoid the touch of women, not out of malice, but out of a slow, careful preservation of life. They slept alone. They sat alone. They let the winter pass in solitude. Let this thought comfort you. The idea that doing nothing is the best thing you can do. The idea that staying still is a way to survive. You are safe here. Let us look at a Roman soldier. He is not fighting. He is not marching. He is standing guard at a small gate. His name is irrelevant. He is just a figure in the mist. He is wearing a heavy cloak made of wool. It is dyed a dull, brownish red. The wool is coarse and thick. It scratches slightly against his neck, but he does not mind. It is warm. The lanolin in the wool repels the dampness of the fog. Watch him, he does not move. He shifts his weight from his left foot to his right foot. That is the only action for the next hour. His sandals are made of leather, heavy, hobnailed soles. The iron studs on the bottom of the sandals press into the dirt road. The dirt is frozen hard. It crunches very faintly, a sound like dry leaves breaking, but softer. Crunch. Then silence again. He looks at the horizon. The gray is turning to a deep, bruised purple, the color of a bruise or a grape skin. The transition is so slow you cannot see it happen. You only know it has happened because the world is slightly darker than it was a moment ago. He breathes out. A cloud of white steam escapes his lips. It drifts up, curls in the stagnant air, and dissolves. 1 breath. 2 breaths. The white steam is the only proof that time is moving. Otherwise, the world is a painting of gray stone, brown wool, and the coming night. Do not try to focus on the details. Let them wash over you. If your mind wanders, let it wander. You do not need to visualize the soldier. You only need to feel the slowness of his evening. Behind the soldier in the small town, the lamps are being lit. This is a ritual, a slow, necessary task. Imagine a small clay lamp. It fits in the palm of a hand. It is simple, unadorned, just a vessel for oil. The oil is olive oil, thick and golden green. It has traveled a long way to get here, in amphory sealed with wax. Now it sits in the belly of the lamp. A hand appears. It holds a small stick, glowing at the tip with an ember from the hearth. The hand moves slowly. There is no rush. The sun is gone, so there is no hurry to chase the light. The darkness is accepted. The ember touches the wick. The wick is made of linen or hemp. It is black at the tip from the night before. For a moment, nothing happens. The ember glows orange against the black wick. Then a tiny blue flame appears. It is weak. It flickers. It struggles against the cold air. The flame grows. It turns yellow. It steadies itself. Now there is a light. It is not a bright light. It is not a harsh light. It is a soft, warm glow that barely reaches the corners of the room. It casts long, soft shadows that stretch up the walls. The smell of the burning oil fills the room. It is a savory, heavy scent. It smells of earth and olives and warmth. It is the smell of safety. The person who lit the lamp sets it down on a wooden table. The wood of the table is old, polished smooth by years of use. The grain of the wood glows under the lamp light. Outside, the temperature drops another degree. The Roman world is shrinking. In the summer, the world is wide, fields, roads, markets. In the winter, at night, the world shrinks down to the circle of light cast by the oil lamp. Everything outside that circle is cold. Everything inside is warm. You are inside the circle. There is a window in the room. It does not have glass. Glass is rare and expensive, used only by the very wealthy in the villas. Here, the window is just a square opening in the stone wall. To keep the cold out, there are wooden shutters. Listen to the sound of the shutters closing. Creak. The wood is heavy. The hinges are made of iron. They are slightly rusted. They complain with a low, groaning sound as the heavy wood swings shut. Thud. The shutter meets the frame. Then the latch, a simple wooden bar dropped into a slot. Clack. The sound echoes for a second, then dies. Now the outside world is gone. The wind, the mist, the soldier standing at the gate, they are all shut out. There is only the room, the table, the lamp, the warmth. The floor is made of packed earth or perhaps simple tiles. It is cool, but the room is small enough that the heat from the day still lingers in the walls. In the corner there is a brazier, a metal stand on 3 legs. Inside, charcoal is burning. Charcoal burns quietly. It does not crackle like wood. It does not pop. It just glows. A deep, intense red pulse at the center of the black pile. Heat radiates from the brazier. It is a silent heat. It rises up, warming the air, making it thick and sleepy. A man sits near the brazier. He is wearing a tunic of unbleached wool. It is the color of oatmeal. Over his legs he has pulled a heavy blanket. He is not a king. He is not a general. He is perhaps a merchant or a clerk. Tonight he is just a man avoiding the cold. He is tired, not from a great adventure but from the slow accumulation of the day. His shoulders are heavy. His eyelids are heavy. He stares at the glowing charcoal. Watch the charcoal with him. The red light pulses, breathing in and out. The gray ash forms on the surface of the coals. It looks like snow falling on a mountain of fire. The man does not move. He does not speak. There is no one to speak to and nothing to say. In this silence, the mind slows down. The thoughts that raced during the day, the price of grain, the repair of a shoe, the leak in the roof, they all settle down like dust on a quiet road. The Roman night is long. There are 12 hours of darkness in the winter, 12 hours to rest. The concept of time is different here. There is no clock ticking on the wall. There is no digital display. Time is measured by the burning of the oil in the lamp. As the oil level drops, time passes. Drop by drop. If you were to sit there with him, you would hear the house settling. The timber beams in the ceiling contract as they cool. They make small tapping sounds. Tap, tap. It is a rhythmic, hypnotic sound. The man rubs his hands together. The friction creates a dry, rasping sound, palm against palm. He holds them out to the brazier. The heat touches his skin. He thinks about the advice of the physicians. Keep the body still, keep the mind calm. In the intense cold of the north, where the snow can pile up against the door, the body is a fortress. You must pull up the drawbridge. You must secure the gates. Socializing is tiring. Talking uses breath. Laughter shakes the ribs. Tonight there is none of that. There is only preservation. The shadow of the man is cast against the wall behind him. It is a large, dark shape. Because the lamp flickers slightly, the shadow moves. It looks like it is breathing. But the man is still. Let us drift away from this house. Let us move like a ghost through the wall, back out into the street. The sky is now fully dark. The purple has turned to black, a deep velvet black. The stars are hidden by the mist. There is no moon visible. The town is a collection of dark shapes against a dark sky. Occasionally, you can see a faint line of yellow light escaping from under a door or through a crack in a shutter. It shows that life is there, hiding, warm and safe. The street is empty. There are no carts, no horses, no people. Only the stray dogs of the town are awake. But on a night this cold, even they are silent. They have curled up in the straw of the stables or under the eaves of the bakeries where the ovens are still warm. They tuck their noses under their tails. They sleep. The ground is uneven. Cobblestones in the center of the town, turning to packed dirt on the outskirts. The frost is beginning to form on the stones. If you look very closely at a single cobblestone, you can see the ice crystals growing. They start at the edges, tiny, sharp needles of white. They reach out across the gray face of the stone. One crystal, then another. They link together, they form a pattern, a geometric lace of ice. It happens in total silence. This is the drama of the night. Not a war between armies, but the slow conquest of the stone by the frost. It is beautiful if you take the time to look, and we have all the time in the world. Walking down the street, the air smells of wood smoke. Every house is burning a little fuel. The smoke rises from the vents and chimneys. It hangs in the damp air, forming a layer of haze above the roofs. It is a comfortable smell. It smells of habitation. It signals that people are home. Let us float towards the edge of the town. There is a small shrine here, a shrine to the Larrys, the guardian spirits of the crossroads. It is a simple structure, just a small niche in a wall with a little roof of tile. Inside there are two small wooden figures. They are carved simply. The paint has faded. They stand there, watching the empty street. Someone has left an offering earlier in the day, a small piece of bread, a few grains of spelt. The bread is now frozen solid. The spirits do not mind the cold. They are patient. They have watched this street for generations. They have seen the summer dust and the winter mud. Tonight they watch the frost. There is a feeling of absolute permanence here. The stone, the routine, the night. Nothing is changing. Nothing needs to be fixed. The anxiety of the modern world does not exist here. There are no notifications. There are no urgent messages. The news travels at the speed of a walking man, and tonight, no man is walking. So there is no news. There is only the reality of the immediate moment, the cold air, the warm wool, the heavy stone. Deep in the barracks, the soldiers are settling down. A room in the barracks is long and narrow. It smells of leather, sweat, and straw. 8 men sleep here. They are not wearing their armor. The heavy larica segmentata, the iron plate armor, has been taken off. It sits on wooden racks. The metal is cold and dull. It reflects the dim light of a single lantern hanging from the ceiling. The soldiers wear their tunics. They lie on bunk beds made of wood. The mattresses are stuffed with straw or wool. They cover themselves with their cloaks, the sagum and rough blankets. There is a rustling sound, as they adjust their positions. Rustle, rustle. A cough, a deep, chesty sound muffled by the blankets. Then a sigh. One soldier is awake. He is staring at the ceiling. The beams are dark. He is thinking about his boots. The sole of his left boot is coming loose. He will need to take it to the cobbler tomorrow. He thinks about the cobbler. He thinks about the leather. He thinks about the small iron nails. It is a boring thought, a mundane problem. He turns over. The straw in his mattress crunches. He pulls the blanket up over his ear. The wool is scratchy, but he welcomes it. He closes his eyes. The lantern sways slightly in a draft. The shadows of the armor rack sway with it, back and forth, back and forth. Like a pendulum. The rhythm is soothing. The town is entering the second hour of the night. The Romans called the night hours vigiliae if they were on guard duty, but for the common people, it was just the time of sleep. The darkness is heavy now. It presses against the eyelids. Imagine the weight of the Roman Empire. Not the political weight, but the physical weight. Millions of tons of stone. Roads that stretch for thousands of miles. Aqueducts that carry water over valleys. All of it is sitting still under the winter sky. The water in the aqueduct flows. It is dark water. It slides through the stone channel, smooth and silent. It does not splash, it just flows. Gravity pulls it down from the hills towards the town. It has been flowing for 100 years. It will flow for 100 more. The water is cold, near freezing. If you stood by the aqueduct, you would hear a low hum, the vibration of the water moving against the stone, a white noise. HMMMMMMM. Continuous, unending. It is the heartbeat of the infrastructure. Back in the house with the man and the brazier, the heat has made him sleepy. His head nods. He jerks it back up, he blinks. The charcoal is slightly less red now. A layer of gray ash has covered it more fully. The heat is gentler. He decides it is time to sleep. The movement is slow. He stands up, his joints pop. He takes the lamp. The shadow swings across the room. He walks to the sleeping area. It is a small alcove, separated by a heavy curtain. He pushes the curtain aside. The rings of the curtain slide on the rod. SHHHHK. The bed is there. A wooden frame, ropes pulled tight across it, a mattress on top. He sits on the edge of the bed. He unlaces his sandals. The leather laces are stiff. He has to work them loose with his fingers. 1 knot, 2 knots. He pulls the sandal off. He places it on the floor. He takes off the other one. He places it next to the first. He aligns them perfectly, side by side. This orderliness is part of his life. Everything has a place. He does not take off his tunic. It is too cold. He will sleep in it. He lies down. The bed creaks. He pulls a fur blanket up to his chin. It is heavy. The weight of it pins him to the mattress. It feels secure. He reaches out and blows out the lamp. Puff! The flame vanishes instantly. For a second, the glowing red ember of the wick remains, a tiny red eye in the dark. Then it fades. Now there is only darkness, and the smell of the extinguished wick, a sharp, acrid smoke that hangs in the air for a moment before dissipating. The room is black. The silence is absolute. Or is it? Listen closely. There is the wind outside, a very low moan as it passes around the corner of the stone house. There is the breathing of the man, slow, rhythmic. There is the settling of the charcoal in the other room. The night has truly begun. The forbidden touch of the cold is outside. The warmth is inside. The king's law, the physician's advice has been obeyed. The man is alone. He is warm. He is safe. He is drifting. And so are we. We are drifting over the rooftops now. The tiles are slick with frost. We can see the layout of the streets, a grid of darkness. There are no streetlights, no cars, no neon signs. Just the sleeping earth. We move towards the market square, the forum. In the day, this is a noisy place. Shouting, bargaining, money-changing hands. Now it is a vast, empty space. There are columns lining the square, tall, fluted columns of stone. They stand like sentinels. The wind blows through the colonnade. Woo-woo. It swirls around the base of the columns. It picks up a few dry leaves that were left behind. The leaves skitter across the stone pavement. Scritch, scritch, scritch. They tumble and roll until they hit a wall. Then they stop. The statues of the emperors look down from their pedestals. They are made of marble or bronze. Their eyes are blank. They do not care about the cold. They do not care about the night. They just stand there. One statue has a hand raised as if addressing a crowd, but there is no crowd, only the empty square and the frost. Snow begins to fall. Just a few flakes at first. Tiny, white specks drifting down from the gray void above. Watch one flake. It falls slowly, rocking back and forth on the air currents. Left, right. It lands on the shoulder of the statue. It stays there. Another flake lands on the ground. It melts instantly against the stone. But the next one stays. And the next. The silence deepens with the snow. Snow absorbs sound. It creates a blanket of quiet. The world is being wrapped in cotton. This is the boring history, the history of weather, the history of stone, the history of sleep. There is no next chapter. There is only the next hour. The snow falls on the roof of the barracks, on the helmet of the guard, on the road leading out of town. The road leads to Rome eventually, but that is weeks away, months away. Here, there is only the immediate vicinity. The guard at the gate wipes a snowflake from his nose. He blinks. He looks at his spear. The wood of the shaft is dark with oil. The iron tip is dull. He rests the butt of the spear on the ground. He is bored. He is perfectly, safely, wonderfully bored. His mind is empty. He is not thinking of the past. He is not thinking of the future. He is just existing. And in that existence, there is a profound peace. The first hour of darkness is ending. The settlement has successfully transitioned from the activity of the day to the stillness of the night. The fires are banked, the doors are barred, the eyes are closed. The cold reigns supreme outside. The warmth survives inside. It is a balance, a gentle, static balance. We will stay here for a while, watching the snow fall, watching the dark. There is no rush to move to the second hour. Let the snow cover the ground. Let the white layer grow, millimeter by millimeter. Covering the dirt, covering the trash, covering the footsteps of the day. Making everything clean, making everything new, making everything silent. The snow continues to fall. Outside, the world is being erased. The sharp edges of the Roman town are softening. The angles of the roofs are becoming curves. The dirt of the streets is disappearing under a pristine white sheet. It is a slow accumulation. Flake by flake. Layer by layer. We leave the cold street. We leave the shivering guard. We move towards a larger building near the center of the town. It is a villa, a large house. The walls are high and windowless on the street side, designed to keep the privacy in and the noise out. Tonight, they keep the cold out. We drift through the heavy wooden gates into the atrium. The atrium is open to the sky in the center. The impluvium, the shallow pool meant to catch rainwater, is now catching snow. The water in the pool is black and still. The snowflakes land on the surface and melt, but around the edges on the marble rim, the white powder is gathering. It is quiet here, but there is a sound, a very faint, deep sound. Rum-mum. It is coming from beneath the ground. Let us go down. We move past the sleeping quarters, past the silent kitchen, and down a small flight of stone steps. The air changes here. It becomes dry, it becomes warm. We are in the Prefernium, the furnace room. This is the engine of the Roman winter. This is the secret heart that keeps the cold at bay. The room is low-ceilinged. The walls are made of brick blackened by years of smoke. There is a smell here that is ancient and comforting, the smell of toasted wood, the smell of hot stone, the smell of dry ash. In the center of the room is the mouth of the furnace. It is a low arch made of fire-hardened bricks. Inside, the fire is alive. It is not a wild fire. It is a controlled fire, a tamed beast. A man sits on a wooden stool near the wall. He is the fornicator, the stoker of the furnace. He is an old man. His skin is leathery and deeply lined. His tunic is short and worn, stained with soot. He wears a heavy leather apron. He is the guardian of the warmth. He does not look at a phone. He does not look at a book. He looks at the fire. He has been looking at fires for 40 years. He knows the language of the flame. He knows that a blue flame means intense heat. He knows that a yellow flame means the wood is burning down. Watch him. He sits perfectly still. His hands rest on his knees. They are large hands, rough and strong. He is listening to the draft. The air is being pulled into the furnace by the heat. It makes a soft whistling sound as it passes through the vent. Whhhhhuo. The draft is good tonight. The wind outside is helping to pull the smoke up the hidden flues in the walls. He leans forward. Slowly, he picks up an iron poker. It is a long, heavy rod with a hooked end. He inserts the poker into the mouth of the furnace. Scrape. The iron scrapes against the brick floor of the oven. He pushes a log deeper into the heart of the fire. A shower of sparks flies up. They swirl in the dark throat of the furnace like tiny, chaotic stars. They are orange and bright. They dance for a second, then vanish into the heat. He pulls the poker back. He sets it down against the wall. Clink. The sound is sharp, then gone. He picks up a new log from a pile next to him. Look at the log. It is oak, dense, heavy. It has been drying in a shed for 2 years. The bark is gray and rough. The ends are cracked from age. He weighs it in his hand. He checks the density. It is a good piece of wood. It will burn slowly. It will burn hot. He tosses it gently into the fire. Thump. It lands on the bed of glowing coals. For a moment, nothing happens. The log sits there, dark and cold against the red background. Then the heat begins to work. The bark begins to smoke. Tiny curls of gray smoke rise up. Then a small flame licks the edge of the wood. It catches. The fire has accepted the offering. The man leans back. His job is done for now. He will not need to move again for another 20 minutes. This is the rhythm of his night. Watch, wait, feed. Watch, wait, feed. It is a cycle that connects him to the very earth. Let us follow the heat. The heat generated by this fire does not stay here. It travels. It flows out of the back of the furnace and enters a space beneath the floor of the house. This is the hypocaust. Imagine a hollow space, about 2 feet high, extending under the entire floor of the main room above. The floor is not resting on the ground. It is suspended on pillars of stacked tiles, hundreds of small pillars arranged in neat rows. The hot air from the furnace flows like a river through this forest of pillars. It winds its way through the dark, dusty labyrinth. It touches the pillars get warm. It touches the underside of the floor above. The floor gets warm. It is an invisible heating system. There are no radiators. There are no blowing fans. There is just the rising heat. The floor above is made of mosaic tiles, tiny cubes of colored stone set in mortar. Imagine the heat seeping into the mortar, seeping into the stone. It travels slowly. Stone is a slow conductor. It takes hours for the heat to penetrate. But once it is there, it stays. In the room above, the floor is pleasantly warm to the touch. If you were to walk on it with bare feet, it would feel like walking on a sun-warmed rock in the middle of summer, even though it is freezing outside. This is the luxury of the Romans, the conquest of winter. In the room above the hypocaust, the master of the house is sleeping. He is unaware of the old man in the cellar. He is unaware of the oak log. He is unaware of the draft. He only knows that he is warm. He lies on a bed frame of bronze. The mattress is thick, stuffed with feathers from geese. The room is dark. The heat radiates up from the floor, invisible and silent. It warms the air in the room evenly. There are no cold drafts near the floor. The master breathes deeply. Inhale. Exhale. The air in the room is still. Let us go back down to the furnace room. The stoker decides to drink some water. There is a clay jug on the floor. It is cool. The water inside is from the well. He lifts the jug with 2 hands. It is heavy. He tilts it to his lips. Gulp. Gulp. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. He sets the jug down. He stares at the fire again. The red glow illuminates his face. It highlights the deep wrinkles around his eyes. It casts his shadow against the back wall. The shadow is huge. It flickers when the fire flickers. There is a cat in the room. We did not see it before because it was sleeping in the shadows, behind the woodpile. It is a large gray cat, a mouser. It stretches. First the front paws extending long and sharp, then the back arches. It yawns, showing a pink tongue and white teeth. It walks silently across the dusty floor, paws like velvet. It approaches the furnace. It knows exactly how close it can get without burning its whiskers. It finds a spot where the heat is perfect. It curls up again. It tucks its nose under its tail. It closes its eyes. The cat understands the purpose of this night better than anyone. Conservation of energy, enjoyment of warmth. The man looks at the cat. He does not smile, but his expression softens. He and the cat are companions in the silence. They do not speak, they do not touch, they just share the warmth. The concept of the forbidden touch applies here too. The man does not touch the fire. If he did, he would be burned. He respects the distance. He maintains the boundary. Outside the thick walls, the wind picks up slightly. Whoosh. It batters against the stone. It tries to find a crack. It tries to find a weakness. But the Romans built well. The mortar is strong. The bricks are tight. The wind slides off the wall and continues down the street, frustrated. Inside, the flame dances a little more vigorously as the draft increases. The wood crackles. Pop! A small pocket of sap in the wood explodes. A tiny sound, loud in the silence. The cat's ear twitches. One ear rotates back, then forward. But the cat does not wake up. The stoker shifts his weight on the stool. The wood of the stool creaks. He rests his chin on his hand. He is not bored. Boredom implies a desire to be doing something else. He has no desire to be anywhere else. It is warm here. It is cold everywhere else. This is the best place in the world. He watches the embers. The bottom of the fire is a bed of glowing coals, deep, intense orange, pulsing with heat. Occasionally, a piece of the burning log breaks off and falls into the coals. It crumbles. It becomes part of the bed. This is the slow disintegration of matter, wood turning into heat, matter turning into energy. It is a process that has happened since the beginning of time. There is nothing to worry about. The fire will burn, the heat will rise, the winter will pass. Time feels viscous here, thick like honey. A minute takes a long time to pass. You can count the breaths of the old man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He blinks slowly. His eyes are dry from the heat. He rubs them gently with a knuckle. He looks at the pile of wood remaining. There are 5 logs left. That is enough for the rest of the night. He calculates this without words, just a feeling. 5 logs, 5 hours. Dawn will come when the last log is burned. But dawn is far away. Right now we are deep in the Nox, the night. Let us float up through the ceiling again, up through the hypocaust, up through the mosaic floor, up through the roof. Back into the snow. The snow has covered the garden of the villa. There are statues in the garden, stone nymphs and satyrs. They are wearing white caps of snow now. The snow makes everything look equal. The expensive marble statue is covered in the same snow as the discarded clay pot in the corner. The nature of the cold is democratic. It touches everyone. We move away from the villa. We drift down the street. The town is a collection of islands of heat in a sea of cold. Every house is a fortress. We pass a bakery, the Pistrinum. The bakers are asleep. They will wake up early before dawn to start the bread. But for now, the ovens are cooling down. The large brick ovens still hold the heat of the day. The air around the bakery smells of yeast and toasted grain, a smell that lingers even in the frost. We pass a tavern, the Popina. It is closed, the shutters are tight. Earlier there was noise here. Wine was poured, dice were thrown. Now there is nothing. The wooden sign hanging above the door swings slightly in the wind. Krieg, krieg. It is a rhythmic sound, like a metronome, measuring the emptiness of the street. The ground is getting slippery. The snow is packing down over the ice. If you were walking here, your footsteps would be muffled. Crunch, crunch. But there are no footsteps. The snow is unmarked, a perfect white canvas. We drift towards the edge of the town again, towards the fields. Here the buildings stop. The road continues, straight as an arrow into the darkness. The Roman road, the Via. It is paved with large flat stones. On either side of the road, there are drainage ditches. The water in the ditches is frozen. Beyond the ditches, the fields stretch out. In the summer, these fields are full of wheat, swaying gold. Now they are stubble, short, sharp stalks poking up through the snow. The wind blows across the open fields without obstruction. It is colder here. There is no shelter. But even here, there is life. Deep in the earth, beneath the frost line, the seeds are sleeping. They are waiting. They are doing exactly what the people in the town are doing. They are conserving their energy. They are waiting for the sun to return. The earth is a giant dormant creature. It is breathing very slowly. The winter is a necessary pause, a long exhale. If you look at the horizon, where the earth meets the sky, there is no line. The white of the snow blends into the gray of the night. It is an infinite gradient. You are floating in this void. It is peaceful. There are no demands here, no deadlines. You are simply an observer of the quiet. Back in the furnace room, the stoker reaches for another log. He moves with the same slow precision as before. He opens the door, the light flares up. He places the log. He closes the door. The cycle continues. The heat rises. The sleeper sleeps. The snow falls. Nothing changes, and that is a good thing. The stability of this moment is absolute. Imagine the texture of the brick wall in the furnace room. It is rough, gritty. If you ran your hand along it, you would feel the heat stored in the clay. It is a dry, dusty heat. It feels like the desert captured in a box. The stoker leans his head back against the wall. He closes his eyes for a moment. He is not sleeping. He is just resting his eyes. He sees the afterimage of the fire on the back of his eyelids. a glowing orange rectangle floating in the dark. It fades slowly, first to red, then to purple, then to black. He listens to the fire popping. He listens to the wind outside. He is perfectly content. He is the keeper of the flame, the pilot of the night. As long as he sits here, the house is safe. The cold cannot enter. The forbidden touch of the frost is kept at bay by the walls and the fire. It is a silent war, a war of attrition. And tonight the fire is winning. The second hour of the night is passing. Slowly, like syrup dripping from a spoon. The town settles deeper into its rest. The dreams of the inhabitants are simple, dreams of summer, dreams of food, dreams of warmth. No one dreams of battles tonight. It is too cold for battles. There is only the snow, and the stone, and the silence, and the slow, steady beating of the heat in the veins of the house. You are part of this house now. You are safe within the walls. Let the image of the glowing charcoal fill your mind. Warm, steady, enduring. There is nothing else you need to know. The night deepens. The snow is deeper now. It has covered the first step of the temple. It has filled the ruts in the road. We are drifting again, moving through the silent, frozen air of the Roman town. We approach a large building with high, arched windows. This is the Thermae, the public bathhouse. During the day, this place is the loudest in the city. It echoes with splashing, laughter, arguments, and the slapping of sandals on wet stone. But now it is a cathedral of silence. The doors are locked. The patrons have gone home to their beds. Let us slip inside, through the gaps where the steam vents out. We are in the apoditerium, the changing room. It is dark here. There are stone benches lining the walls. Above the benches there are rows of niches, small cubbies where men put their clothes. They are all empty. The room smells of damp stone and stale oil. It is a mineral smell, clean but heavy. We float through a doorway into the tepidarium, the warm room. The air here is thick. It is humid. Even though the fires in the furnace below are banked low, the heat remains in the walls. The floor is still warm. There is a pool in the center. The surface of the water is like a mirror of black glass. It is perfectly flat. There is no wind in here to disturb it. Wait. Listen. High up on the vaulted ceiling, the steam has condensed. The moisture gathers on the plaster. A single drop forms. It hangs there, defying gravity for a moment. Then it falls. It falls through 10 feet of darkness. Plip. It hits the water. The sound is incredibly loud in the silence. It echoes off the stone walls. Plip, plip, and plip. The echo fades. Ripples spread out from the center, perfect concentric circles. They travel slowly across the black water. They reach the edge of the pool. They lap against the marble rim. Slap. A tiny, almost inaudible sound. Then the water is still again. It waits for the next drop. This cycle happens every few minutes. Drop. Ripple. Silence. It is a slow clock, measuring the night in water. The steam hangs in the air like a ghostly curtain. It swirls very slowly. In the corner, there is a statue of a river god. He is reclining, holding a jar from which water usually flows. Tonight, the water has been turned off. The jar is dry. The statue looks peaceful. His stone eyes stare into the mist. He is at rest. The Romans believed that water had a healing power, that it could wash away the fatigue of the day. Now the water itself is resting. It is recovering its stillness. The heat in the room is softening. It is not the fierce heat of the day. It is a gentle, fading warmth, like a memory of the sun. We move deeper into the caldarium, the hot room. Here the humidity is higher. The air is heavy in your lungs. You can taste the moisture. The floor is hotter here. The hypocaust below works harder for this room. If you stood here, you would feel the sweat start to form on your skin. This is the vital heat trying to balance with the environment. But there is no one here to sweat. Only the empty benches, only the silent water. It is a sanctuary of void. To be here is to be nowhere, to be disconnected from the world outside. The snow outside cannot touch this place. The wind cannot reach it. It is a womb of stone and steam. Let us leave the baths, let the water settle, let the mist swirl in the dark. We move out into the cold night air again. The shock of the cold is instant. The temperature has dropped further. It is deep freezing now. We travel down a narrow alleyway. The snow crunches under our invisible feet. We are heading towards a different kind of warmth. We approach a long, low wooden building. It smells different here. It smells of hay, of oats, of leather, and of animals. This is a stable, part of a mancio, a stopping place for official travelers and couriers. The doors are large and heavy. We pass through. Inside it is dark but not pitch black. There is a single lantern hanging on a hook near the door. The flame is low, just a flicker. It casts long, moving shadows across the stalls. There are 12 stalls. In the stalls there are horses. Roman horses, strong, stocky animals. They are the engines of the empire. They pull the carts. They carry the soldiers. But tonight, they are just animals seeking warmth. Listen to the sound of the stable. It is a symphony of living noises. Woof! A horse blows air through its nostrils, a soft, fluttering sound. Crunch, crunch! A horse is chewing hay. It grinds the dry stalks between its large, flat teeth. It is a slow, rhythmic grinding. Shift! A hoof stamps on the straw-covered floor, a heavy thud. The air in the stable is warmer than outside. The body heat of 12 large animals is trapped here. It raises the temperature by 10 degrees. It is a cozy, organic warmth. Walk down the aisle between the stalls. Look at the horse in the third stall. It is a bay mare. Her coat is dark, blending into the shadows. She is sleeping standing up. Her head hangs low. Her lower lip droops slightly. Her eyes are closed. One hind leg is cocked, resting on the toe of the hoof. She is perfectly balanced. Her locking mechanism in her legs allows her to sleep without falling. She is a statue of flesh and blood. Her breathing is slow and deep. You can see her ribcage expand and contract. In, out, in, out. Steam rises from her back. She has a thick winter coat. The heat of her body meets the cool air of the stable and creates a faint haze around her. She is generating her own microclimate. In the corner of the stall, there is a water bucket. The water is dark. The horse wakes up slightly. She shifts her weight. She lowers her neck. She sniffs the water. She takes a drink. Slurp, slurp. The sound of the water being sucked up is loud and wet. She lifts her head. Water drips from her muzzle. Drip, drip. She chews the water, savoring it. Then she lowers her head again, her eyes close. She is back asleep in seconds. There is a groom sleeping in the stable. He is not a soldier. He is a slave or a freedman. His job is to watch the horses. He has made a bed for himself on a pile of fresh straw in an empty stall. He is wrapped in a rough woolen blanket. It is gray and scratchy. He is burrowed into the straw like a small animal. The straw is a good insulator. It traps the air. It holds the heat. He is asleep. He is snoring softly. Snork. His snoring mixes with the breathing of the horses. It is a peaceful communal sleep. Man and beast sharing the same space, the same warmth, the same night. There is no hierarchy here. The cold does not care who is a man and who is a horse. They are both just sources of heat. Above the groom's head, on a wooden beam, a spider is sitting in its web. The web is dusty. The spider does not move. It is waiting. But there are no flies tonight. The flies are gone with the summer. So the spider waits. It is patient. It can wait for months. It sits in the center of its geometric world, perfectly still. The lantern by the door flickers. The oil is getting low. The light dims. The shadows lengthen. The corners of the stable disappear into darkness. The smell of the hay is comforting. It smells of summer fields, dried and stored for the winter. It is a smell of provision, a smell of safety. Outside, the wind howls. Who will? It rattles the wooden shutters of the stable windows. Rattle-tattle. The horses do not react. They are used to the wind. They know they are safe inside. The bay mare twitches her ear, just a reflex. The groom turns over in his straw. The night is long. Let us think about the forbidden touch again. In this cold, touching is not about romance. It is about survival. The Roman physicians, like Galen, wrote about the balance of humors. They believed that women were cold and wet by nature, and men were hot and dry. They believed that in the winter, a man needed to conserve his heat. To mix with the cold nature of a woman was thought to be dangerous. It would sap his strength. It would cool his fire. So the king slept alone. The generals slept alone. It was a primitive science, a misunderstanding of biology. But it created a culture of solitude in the winter, a culture of stillness. Tonight, everyone is obeying this law. The groom is alone. The soldier is alone. The stoker is alone. They are all islands of heat, preserving their life force against the encroaching frost. It is a kind of hibernation. The humans are mimicking the bears in the mountains. They are slowing down their metabolism. They are doing less. There is a wisdom in this. In a world without electric lights, without central heating, you have to flow with the seasons. You cannot fight them. When the sun goes down, you stop. When the winter comes, you rest. There is no guilt in this rest. There is no anxiety about wasting time. Winter is the time to waste. Let us focus on a small detail in the stable. Hanging on a nail on the wooden post is a leather bridle. The leather is old. It is cracked in places. It has been oiled many times. It smells rich and pungent. The bit, the metal part that goes in the horse's mouth, is made of iron. It is cold. If you touched it with your tongue, it would stick. Frost is forming on the iron ring. It starts as a dull haze on the shiny metal. Then tiny crystals appear. They grow on the iron like mold. White feathery crystals. The metal is turning white. It happens silently. This is the chemistry of the night. Water vapor in the air touching cold metal and turning to ice. Sublimation. It is a slow magic trick. The groom's breath rises in a small cloud. It drifts up towards the rafters. There in the dark, mice are moving. Tiny, light footsteps on the wooden beams. Scritch-scratch. They are looking for loose grain. They are small shadows, quick and nervous. But even they are moving slower than usual. The cold affects everyone. One mouse finds a grain of oats. It holds it in its paws. It nibbles. Nibble, nibble. It is a tiny sound, lost in the vastness of the stable. But it is there, life continuing in the dark. We float back out of the stable. We leave the warmth of the animals behind. Back into the street. The snow is falling harder now, large, fluffy flakes. They fall straight down. The wind has died down for a moment. The town is being buried. The streets are disappearing. If you look down from above, you would see only white shapes. Roofs, roads, gardens, all white. The Roman world is becoming a blank page. We move towards the granary, the horium. This is a massive building, thick walls of stone, raised floors to keep the damp out. Inside, there are mountains of grain. Wheat from Egypt, spelt from the local fields, barley. It is piled high in wooden bins. Thousands of tons of food. It sits there in the dark. It is dry, it is dusty. The smell is intense, a dry, dusty smell that tickles the nose. This is the wealth of the empire, not gold but grain. Calories stored for the winter. The grain is silent. It pours down like sand if you disturb it, but tonight no one disturbs it. It settles. Gravity pulls the kernels closer together. They pack down. The pile shifts infinitesimally. A tiny slide of grain, a few kernels rolling down the slope of the pile. Then stillness again. The granary is a fortress of food. It stands against the hunger of the winter. Outside the granary, a guard is walking his patrol. He is walking slowly. He is wearing heavy boots. He steps in the snow. Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. He stops. He blows into his hands. He rubs them together. He looks up at the sky. He cannot see the stars. He only sees the falling gray flakes. He wonders how long until his shift ends. He does not check a watch. He estimates. He feels the cold in his toes. He stamps his feet. Thump, thump, to get the blood flowing. This is the dance of the sentry. Walk, stop, stamp, blow on hands, walk. Repeat. Forever. He is not looking for enemies. He knows no one is coming. Who would attack on a night like this? The cold is the only enemy. He turns the corner of the building. He disappears into the shadows. We are left alone with the snow. The third hour of the night is passing. The deep silence is heavy. It feels like a blanket weighing down on your shoulders. It is a comfortable weight. It pushes you down. Down into the chair. Down into the bed. Down into sleep. There is nothing happening. Absolutely nothing. Just the snow falling. Just the horses breathing. Just the water cooling in the bathhouse. Just the grain settling. The world is paused. It is waiting for you to close your eyes. The details are blurring. The sharp lines of the stone are gone. Everything is soft. Everything is gray and white. Everything is slow. You are drifting through the ancient night. You are safe. You are warm. You are part of the history of sleep. The timeline of the night continues, unbroken, unhurried. Let us stay here in the falling snow for a moment longer. Watching the flakes. Counting them if you like. 1, 2, 3. Limitless. Endless. Peaceful. The night has settled into a deep, rhythmic groove. The snow falls with a steady persistence. It is no longer a novelty, it is the state of the world. The ground is white. The roofs are white. The air is white. We move away from the sleeping granary. We drift through the silent streets, turning a corner into a narrow lane. Here the houses are taller. They lean slightly over the street, their eaves almost touching. We approach a window. It is small, set high in the wall. A light still burns inside. Let us float up and peer through the crack in the shutter. Inside there is a small room. It is a study, a tablinum. There is a man sitting at a desk. He is a scribe, or perhaps an estate manager. He is working late, but he is not working hard. The room is filled with shelves. On the shelves are scrolls, hundreds of them. They are stacked in a honeycomb pattern. Ends of papyrus rolls visible, tagged with small slips of wood identifying their contents. Inventory of grain, tax records year 118, list of tools. Boring titles, boring lists. The man is reading one of these lists. He is not reading a poem about love or war. He is reading about bushels of wheat. His finger traces the line of text. His finger is stained with ink, black carbon ink. The skin of his finger is dry. It makes a faint sound as it slides across the papyrus. Swish, swish. The papyrus is old. It is brittle. It smells of the Nile Delta thousands of miles away. It smells of dried reeds and glue. The man stops reading. He picks up his pen, a calamus, a reed pen sharpened to a point. He dips it into an inkwell. The inkwell is made of bronze. It is heavy. The ink inside is thick. The cold has made it viscous. It clings to the pen. He brings the pen to the paper. He writes a number. X, V, I, 16. The sound of the pen on the papyrus is scratchy. Scritch and scratch. It is a dry, tactile sound. He pauses. He looks at the flame of his lamp. The lamp is running low on oil. The flame is getting smaller. He knows he should go to bed. The Romans believed that the night was for sleeping, not working. To work at night was to burn midnight oil, a luxury and a waste. But he enjoys the quiet. He enjoys the solitude. There is no one asking him questions, no one demanding answers. Just the numbers. The numbers are safe. They do not change. 16 bushels of wheat will always be 16 bushels of wheat. He rubs his eyes with the back of his hand. He yawns. It is a long, jaw-cracking yawn. He rolls up the scroll. Watch this action. It is precise. He holds the wooden dowel at the end. He twists his wrist. Twist. The papyrus curls around the wood. Twist. It rolls up tight. He ties a small leather thong around it. Loop. Knot. He places the scroll on the desk. He blows out the lamp. PHHHT. The room plunges into darkness. Now he is just a breathing shape in the dark. He sits there for a moment, letting his eyes adjust. He stands up. His chair scrapes against the floor. Scrape. He walks to the door. He opens it. The sound of his footsteps fades down the hallway. The room is left alone. The scrolls on the shelves sit in the dark. They are full of words, but they are silent. Knowledge frozen in time. The ink dries on the page, the liquid becoming solid. Let us leave the study. We move down the hallway of this house. We are looking for the kitchen, the culina. The kitchen is the warmest room in the house, usually. We find it at the back of the villa. It is a large room with a stone floor. There is a large hearth against one wall. The fire has burned down to embers, but the bricks are still radiating heat. The air here smells delicious. It smells of rosemary, of garlic, of wood smoke, of toasted cheese. It is a savory, heavy smell. On the table there are clay jars and bowls. Let us look at a jar of honey. It is an earthenware pot with a lid. The honey inside has been sitting in the cold kitchen all night. Honey changes when it gets cold. It crystallizes. Imagine the molecules of sugar inside the golden liquid. They are slowing down. They are locking together. They form tiny, geometric structures. The liquid turns opaque. It turns grainy. It becomes solid. If you were to stick a spoon into it now, it would be hard. You would have to chip it out. This is a very slow process. You cannot see it happening, but it is happening. The honey is sleeping. Next to the honey, there is a jar of olive oil. Olive oil also reacts to the cold. At room temperature, it is liquid gold. But tonight, in the chill of the kitchen, it is clouding over. White wisps are forming inside the green oil, like clouds forming in a sky. The fats are solidifying. Eventually, the whole jar will look like soft butter. It is a transformation caused by the absence of heat. It is quiet chemistry. There is a basket of apples in the corner. They are winter apples, wrinkled skins. They sit in the dark. They release a faint, sweet gas, the smell of ripening fruit. Sniff. It is a fresh, clean scent in the smoky room. A mouse scampers across the floor. It is heading for the apples. It stops, it listens. It hears the wind outside. It hears the settling of the house. It decides it is safe. It continues to the basket. It climbs up the wicker side. Rustle, rustle. It finds an apple. It takes a tiny bite. Crunch. The sound is microscopic. The mouse is happy. The kitchen is a place of abundance. Even in the dead of winter, there is food here. There is life here. Let us move to the pantry next door. Here hang the dried herbs. Bunches of thyme, bunches of oregano, bunches of mint. They hang from the ceiling beams, tied with string. They are dry and brittle. If you touch them, they would crumble into dust. They have lost their color. They are gray-green now. But they have not lost their smell. The air in the pantry is perfumed with summer. These herbs grew in the hot sun of July. They absorbed the heat. They absorbed the light. Now in the dark of January, they release that memory. To walk into the pantry is to walk into a ghost of the summer garden. It is comforting. It reminds us that winter is not forever. But for now, it is enough. We leave the kitchen. We go out into the courtyard. There is a well here. A stone circle in the ground. Let us look down into the well. It is deep, dark. Drop a pebble. Wait, wait, wait. Splash. The sound comes from far away, from the belly of the earth. The water down there is never frozen. It comes from deep aquifers. It is constant. The Romans respected water. They built their empire on it. This well has been here for 100 years. It has seen generations of people come to draw water. Slaves, mothers, children, soldiers. Now it is alone. The rope for the bucket hangs motionless. It is stiff with frost. The bucket sits on the rim of the well. It is made of wood, bound with iron hoops. There is a little ice in the bottom of the bucket. A thin, transparent sheet. If you tapped it, it would break. Tink. But no one taps it. The silence of the courtyard is profound. The snow piles up on the rim of the well. We drift upwards again, above the rooftops. The view is monochromatic. Shades of gray and white. We can see the outline of the city wall. The Muris. It is a thick band of stone encircling the town. It is a psychological barrier as much as a physical one. Inside the wall, civilization, warmth, order, law. Outside the wall, chaos, cold, wild animals, barbarians. Tonight the gate is shut tight. The heavy wooden doors are barred with a beam of oak as thick as a man's waist. We drift over the wall to the outside. Here the wind is stronger. There are no buildings to break its path. It sweeps across the open ground. There is a forest in the distance. A dark, jagged line against the sky. The trees are bare, oaks, elms. They stand like skeletons. Their branches reach up, grasping at the falling snow. They are swaying. Kriak. Groan. The wood of the trees is frozen. It is brittle. Sometimes a branch snaps under the weight of the snow. Crack. The sound is like a gunshot. It echoes across the empty fields. Then silence returns. The branch falls into the snow. It is buried. It will rot there in the spring. It will become soil. This is the slow cycle of the forest. There are wolves in the forest, but they are not howling tonight. They are curled up in their dens, deep in the hollows of trees or in caves. They are huddled together for warmth. A pile of fur. They are sleeping. Their breath mists the air in the den. Even the predators obey the winter. The forbidden touch applies to nature too. The wolves do not hunt when the cold is this deep. To hunt is to burn energy. To burn energy is to risk death. So they wait. They dream of spring. They dream of deer. But tonight they only sleep. Let us go back to the wall, back to the safety of the town. We find a watchtower. There is a guard here. He is wrapped in so many layers he looks like a ball of wool. He is leaning against the stone battlement. He is looking out at the forest. He is not afraid, he is just watching. He sees the dark line of trees. He sees the white field. He thinks about his breakfast. He thinks about porridge. Warm, thick oatmeal with a spoonful of honey. The thought warms him. He shifts his feet. The leather of his boot squeaks. He hums a low tune. Just a few notes, a simple melody he heard a flutist play in the market. Hum, 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 hum. The sound is swallowed by the wind immediately. He stops humming. He prefers the silence. He looks up. The clouds are thinning slightly. Just a little. He can see a faint brightness where the moon should be. It is a diffuse glow, like a lamp behind a heavy curtain. The moon is there, watching. The Romans called the moon Luna. She was a goddess. She is cold, she is distant, she is silent. She is the perfect companion for this night. The guard blinks. His eyelashes have tiny crystals of ice on them. When he blinks, they melt. He wipes his eyes. He turns around and looks back at the town. He sees the rooftops. He sees the faint smoke rising. He feels a sense of protectiveness. He is the shell. The town is the pearl. He is the hard outer layer. The people sleeping inside are the soft center. It is a good job, a simple job. Stand, watch, wait. He has been doing it for 4 hours. He has 2 more to go. Time is just a measure of endurance. We drift down from the tower. We enter a narrow street where the artisans live. We pass a pottery shop. The pots are stacked outside under an awning. Amphory, bowls, plates, oil lamps. They are made of red clay, terra sigillata. They are cold to the touch. They are waiting to be bought, waiting to be filled. A stray dog trots down the street. It stops at the pottery shop. It sniffs a bowl. It finds nothing. It trots on. Its paws make no sound on the snow. It is a ghost dog. It disappears around a corner. We enter the house of a weaver. The room is dark, but there is a large shape in the corner. The loom. It is a vertical loom, 2 tall wooden posts leaning against the wall. The warp threads hang down, weighted with small clay stones. The threads are white wool. They hang perfectly straight, tension and gravity holding them in place. There is a half-finished piece of cloth on the loom. A tunic in the making. The shuttle, wrapped with weft thread, sits on a bench nearby. The work is paused. The threads are waiting for the hands of the weaver. But the weaver is asleep in the next room. The loom stands like a musical instrument waiting to be played. But tonight the music is silence. Trace the line of a single thread with your mind. From the top beam, down, down, down through the heddle rod, down to the clay weight at the bottom. It is a straight line, a geometric perfection. There are hundreds of threads, a wall of string. The air in the room is still. The threads do not move. If you plucked one, it would make a low sound. Thrum. But we do not pluck it, we leave it be. The stillness of the objects is soothing. They do not demand attention, they just exist. They are patient. In a world that is always rushing, always moving, the patience of inanimate objects is a lesson. The loom will wait, the clay pot will wait, the stone wall will wait. You can wait too. There is nowhere you need to be. The 4th hour of the night is passing. The snow has slowed down. The flakes are smaller now, more sparse. The blanket is complete, the world is covered. The town is a sculpture of ice and snow. Deep under the ground, the roots of the old oak tree in the square are drinking water. Slowly, drawing moisture from the soil, pulling it up into the trunk. It is a hydraulic action that happens in the dark. The tree is alive, it is awake in its own way. It is preparing for the leaves that will come in 3 months. But that is a long time away. For now, it just holds its ground. It stands firm against the wind. The texture of the bark is rough, deep fissures, ridges. Snow fills the cracks in the bark, creating a vertical pattern of black and white. It is art without an artist. We hover near the tree. We feel the stability of it. Rooted, grounded, heavy. Let yourself feel heavy. Like the tree, like the stone, like the sleeping bear. Sink into the ground. Let the gravity pull you. It is a gentle pull, a friendly embrace. The earth wants you to rest. The Roman night is a blanket. Pull it up to your chin. Feel the weight of the wool. Feel the warmth. The cold is outside. You are inside. You are separated from the frost by layers of stone and wood and time. You are safe in the boring history. The history of nothing happening. The history of peace. The night has reached its midpoint. The heavy wooden beam of the night is balanced perfectly. The snow has stopped falling. The clouds are breaking apart very slowly. We leave the weaver's house, where the loom stands like a silent harp. We move down the street, our feet making no sound on the fresh snow. The air is crisp. It enters the nose sharp and cold. We approach a building that smells of life. Even in the cold, it smells of sustenance. This is the Pistrinum, the bakery. The heavy doors are closed, but the smell escapes through the cracks. It is the smell of yeast, the smell of flour, the smell of fire-baked stone. Let us go inside. The room is large and shadowy. In the center there are the mills, Molly. They are large hourglass-shaped stones made of volcanic rock, heavy, porous basalt. During the day, donkeys are harnessed to these stones. They walk in circles, round and round, turning the top stone against the bottom stone, grinding the grain into flour. But tonight the donkeys are in the stable, the stones are still. Walk up to one of the millstones. Touch it with your mind. It is rough, it feels like sandpaper. There is a fine layer of white dust covering everything in this room. Flour dust. It covers the floor. It covers the tables, it covers the stones. It looks like the snow outside, but it is warm and dry. The air hangs motionless. If you look at a sunbeam in this room during the day, you see millions of floating particles. Tonight in the dark, those particles have settled. They lie on the surfaces like a soft, velvet blanket. The silence here is muffled. The flour absorbs the sound. If you whispered, the sound would not travel. SHHH. It dies instantly in the soft white dust. Against the back wall are the ovens. They are massive brick arches. The fires have been out for hours, but the bricks are thick. They hold the memory of the heat. Put your hand near the oven door. You can feel a gentle wave of warmth. It is fading, but it is still there. Inside the oven it is dark, a cave of brick. On a long wooden table there are wooden bowls. Inside the bowls there is dough. The baker has prepared the leaven for the morning, a mixture of flour, water, and old dough that contains the wild yeast. This is a living thing. Even in the cool room, the yeast is working. It is eating the sugars in the grain. It is producing gas. Watch the dough. You have to watch for a long time. It is rising, millimeter by millimeter. The surface of the pale dough stretches. It forms a dome. It is a slow-motion breath. Expand. Expand. Inside the dough, tiny bubbles are forming. This is the chemistry of bread. It happens in the dark. It happens while the baker sleeps. The baker is sleeping in a small room off the main bakery. He is a large man. His hands are white with flour even in his sleep. It is ingrained in his skin. He sleeps heavily. He is tired from lifting sacks of grain. His chest rises and falls. He dreams of bread. He dreams of the perfect loaf, golden crust, soft interior. He does not dream of the cold. He is insulated by his work. The bakery is a womb of nutrition. There is a feeling of safety here. As long as there is flour, as long as there is yeast, the town will not starve. We leave the sleeping dough. We leave the silent millstones. We float through the floor, down into the cellar. Every Roman house of substance has a cellar, a place to keep things cool in the summer and safe in the winter. This is the cella venerea, the wine cellar. It is darker here. The only light comes from our imagination. The air is cool and damp. It smells of earth. It smells of oak. It smells of old grapes. There are rows of amphorae, tall clay jars with two handles and a pointed bottom. They are leaning against the walls or set into banks of sand to keep them upright. There are hundreds of them. They stand like soldiers in formation. But they are soldiers of peace. Inside each jar is wine. Red wine, white wine, wine from the slopes of Vesuvius, wine from the hills of Tuscany. The wine is liquid time. It sits in the dark clay belly of the jar. It is aging. The tannins are softening. The flavors are melding. It is a chemical process that takes years. It cannot be rushed. If you open it too soon, it is harsh. If you wait, it becomes nectar. The wine is sleeping. Listen to the silence of the cellar. It is a heavy, pressurized silence. The weight of the house is above us, the weight of the stone floor, the weight of the bakery. We are deep in the earth. There is no wind here, no snow. Just the eternal cool of the underground. A spider web hangs between two amphorae. It is covered in dust. It vibrates slightly as a tiny draft moves through the room. Wiggle. Then it stops. There is a small wooden barrel in the corner. It contains vinegar, pasca, the drink of the soldiers and the poor. It has a sharp, acidic smell that cuts through the musty air. Sniff. It wakes up the senses. But then the smell fades back into the background. The cellar is a time capsule. If you stood here for 100 years, nothing would change. The jars would still be here. The dust would still be here. It is a place of absolute stasis. Let us float back up through the floor, up through the bakery, up through the roof. Back to the night sky. The clouds have parted enough to reveal the moon. Luna. She is a pale silver disk. She is not full, she is a waning gibbous, a slightly imperfect circle. Her light is cold. It paints the town in silver and black. The snow sparkles under the moonlight. Millions of tiny diamonds scattered on the ground. If you look closely at one snow crystal, it flashes. Blink. A tiny reflection of the moon. The shadows of the buildings are sharp now. Ink black shadows stretching across the white streets. The contrast is beautiful. It is a black and white photograph come to life. We drift towards the edge of the town, near the river. The river is the Tiber, or perhaps a tributary. The water is moving. It is dark, oily water. It does not freeze completely, but there is ice along the banks. Jagged sheets of ice extending out into the current. The water flows past the ice. Rush. It makes a low, whispering sound. The river is the only thing moving quickly in this frozen world. It is in a hurry to get to the sea. But we are not in a hurry. We stop on the bridge. The bridge is made of stone arches. It is solid. We lean over the parapet and look down. The water swirls around the stone piers of the bridge. It creates small whirlpools, little spirals of dark water. They form, they spin, they vanish. Form, spin, vanish. It is hypnotic. A fish swims deep below the surface. It is a cold water fish, a trout or a carp. It moves slowly. Its metabolism has slowed down for the winter. It flicks its tail once. Swish. It glides through the dark water. It does not need to eat tonight. It just needs to exist. On the bank of the river, there is a small hut. A fisherman lives here. He is not rich. He has no hypocaust. He has no mosaics. He has a fire pit in the center of his hut. The fire is small, just a few sticks. He is wrapped in sheepskins. The wool is thick and greasy. It smells of the animal. He is asleep. His boat is pulled up on the bank, overturned to keep the snow out. The wood of the boat is old and gray. The river sings a lullaby to the fisherman, a song of water and stone, continuous, unending. The forbidden touch is here too. The river does not touch the bank where the ice is. The ice protects the earth. The layers are distinct. Water, ice, earth, snow, air. They are stacked on top of each other, but they do not mix. They respect each other's boundaries. The fisherman's dog is sleeping outside, curled in a ball under the shelter of the boat. It is a tough, wiry dog. It opens one eye as we pass. It sees nothing, just the moonlight on the snow. It closes the eye. It sighs. Hua. A cloud of steam comes from its nose. We leave the river. We move back towards the center of town. We pass a school, a ludus. It is just a roofed area with open sides, usually curtained off. Now the curtains are drawn back. There are benches. There is the teacher's chair, a high-backed chair. It is empty. During the day, children sit here. They scratch wax tablets with styluses. They recite the alphabet. A, B, C. Alpha, beta, gamma. But tonight the alphabet is sleeping. The wax tablets are stacked in a box. The wax is hard. If you tried to write on it now, the stylus would skid. The words are frozen. The knowledge is waiting for the sun to melt the wax, to make it soft again. This is the pause in education, the pause in learning. The mind needs this pause. You cannot learn forever, you must rest. Imagine the texture of the wax tablet, smooth, cool. Smelling of beeswax. A natural sweet smell. The school is silent. We drift to the house of a doctor, a medicus. He is a follower of the great physicians. His room is filled with jars of dried herbs. Sage, rue, hyssop, poppy. The poppy seeds are in a small clay jar. Poppy, the flower of sleep. The Romans used it to bring rest. The seeds are tiny, black, thousands of them. They sit in the jar, potent, quiet. The doctor is asleep in the next room. He has set a bone today. He has mixed a salve. His hands are clean. He washed them in vinegar and water. He sleeps on his back, his hands folded on his chest. He looks peaceful. He knows that healing happens in sleep. The body repairs itself when the mind is gone. The knit of the bone, the closing of the wound, the cooling of the fever. It all happens in the dark. It happens now. While you listen, your body is doing the same. It is repairing. It is resting. It is knitting together the frayed edges of the day. You do not need to do anything. The doctor is not needed tonight. The herbs are not needed. Only the sleep is needed. The moon moves a fraction of an inch across the sky. The shadows on the sundial in the garden shift. But there is no sun to cast a shadow. The sundial is blind at night. It waits. It is a useless object in the dark. And that is okay. Not everything needs to be useful all the time. You do not need to be useful right now. You can just be. Like the sundial in the snow. Waiting. The 5th hour is beginning. The deep middle of the night. The media knocks. The time when the world is furthest from the sun. The darkest point, but also the turning point. From here the earth will slowly, imperceptibly, start to roll back towards the dawn. But that is hours away. For now we enjoy the depth. We enjoy the bottom of the ocean of night. It is calm here. The pressure is even. The silence is total. The snow glitters. The river flows. The bread rises. The wine ages. The sleeper sleeps. Everything is in its place. Everything is correct. Breathe in the cold, clean air of the imagination. Hold it. Let it go. Breathe in the silence. Let it settle in your chest. You are walking the streets of a dream. A dream of Rome, a dream of peace. A dream where nothing happens and everything is fine. The stars are appearing now. Tiny pinpricks of light in the black dome. They are far away. They do not care about us. They just burn. Cold fire. Distance. Space. Sleep. The night has turned a corner. We are entering the 3rd watch, the Tertia Vigilia. In the Roman military camp and in the organized towns, the night is divided into 4 watches. The first is for settling down, the second is for deep sleep, the third is for the silence of the soul, the fourth is for the anticipation of dawn. We are in the 3rd, the deepest, darkest, quietest time. There is a building near the Forum that serves as the administrative headquarters, the Basilica. It is empty of people. The judges are gone. The merchants are gone. But in a small side room, time is being measured. There is a device here, a clepsydra, a water clock. It is a masterpiece of boring engineering. Imagine a large stone vessel filled with water. At the bottom there is a tiny hole, a precise aperture drilled into a sapphire or a bronze fitting to prevent wear. The water drips out. Drip, drip, drip. It falls into a second vessel below. Inside the second vessel there is a float, a piece of cork or light wood. As the water level rises in the bottom vessel, the float rises. Attached to the float is a stick. The stick points to a scale carved into the stone wall. Our VI, our VI, our IX. This machine does not sleep. It does not get tired. It does not feel the cold. It simply obeys gravity. The water is cold. It flows with a consistent viscosity. The sound of the dripping is the only sound in the room. It is a rhythmic, wet metronome. Plop, plop, plop. If you stare at the float, you cannot see it move. It is too slow. But if you look away for an hour and look back, it has risen. This is how the night passes, unseen but inevitable. Outside the basilica, the guard is changing. The sentries of the 2nd watch are finishing their duty. They have stood in the cold for 3 hours. Their feet are numb. Their noses are red. They see the relief patrol coming down the street. The relief patrol moves slowly. They are wrapped in thick wool. They carry lanterns that are shuttered, releasing only a sliver of light towards the ground. There is no shouting, no trumpet calls. That is for the movies. That is for war. This is peace. This is routine. The new guards approach the old guards. They stop. The leather of their sandals creaks in the snow. One man nods to another. Ave, he whispers, a soft greeting. Ave, the other replies. They exchange the password, a meaningless word chosen for the night, Jupiter or iron or silence. Silence, the guard whispers. Silence, the relief confirms. The exchange is done. The old guards turn and walk back towards the barracks. They walk with the anticipation of warmth. They are thinking of their blankets. They are thinking of taking off their boots. The new guards take their places. They plant their feet on the stones. They wrap their cloaks tighter. They rest their spears. They begin their 3 hours of doing absolutely nothing. The street is theirs. The silence is theirs. Let us follow the old guards back to the barracks. They enter the room we visited before. The air inside is thick and warm compared to the outside. It smells of sleeping men. They move quietly. They do not want to wake their comrades. They unbuckle their belts. The leather is stiff with cold. It makes a creaking sound. Creak. They hang the belts on the hooks. They sit on the benches. They bend down to untie their sandals. This is a moment of pure relief. The knot is loosened. The strap falls away. The leather is pulled off the heel. The foot is free. The soldier wiggles his toes. He rubs his cold foot with his warm hand. Friction, heat, blood returning to the skin. It tingles. He sighs. He stands up and walks to his bunk. He climbs in. The straw mattress rustles. He pulls the wool blanket up. He pulls it over his head. He creates a cocoon. Inside the cocoon, it is dark. It is private. He closes his eyes. Within 2 minutes, his breathing slows down. Hua shhh. Hua shhh. He has joined the collective sleep of the empire. He has obeyed the winter. Now, let us move to the house of a wealthy patrician. We are going to the bedroom, the cubiculum. This room is small. The Romans liked small bedrooms because they were easier to keep warm. There is a heavy curtain across the doorway, velvet, dark red. Inside, the walls are painted with scenes of gardens. But in the dark, the gardens are gray. The master of the house is asleep. But his wife is awake. She is lying perfectly still. She is staring at the ceiling. She is not anxious. She is just awake. She is listening to the wind. She is wearing a tunic of fine linen. It is soft against her skin. She feels the warmth of the bed. She feels the heavy quilt, stuffed with wool batting. She thinks about the fabric. She thinks about the sheep that grew the wool, sheep grazing on a hillside in the summer. She thinks about the shearers, the spinners, the weavers. All those hands working to create this warmth. It is a comforting thought. She is connected to the land. She turns her head slowly on the pillow. The pillow is filled with goose down. It crunches softly. Crump. She looks at the window. The shutters are closed, but a single beam of moonlight has found a crack. It cuts across the room like a laser. It illuminates dust motes dancing in the air. The dust motes drift, they spiral, they float. She watches one particular dust mote. It moves up, it moves down. It is caught in a tiny thermal current. She watches it until her eyes get heavy. The beam of light is a solid thing in the darkness. A bridge of photons. She closes her eyes. The image of the light remains in her mind. She drifts back into sleep. The house is silent again. Let us go deeper into the structure of the house. Let us look at the pipes. The Romans were master plumbers, lead pipes, fistulae. They run inside the walls. They run under the floors. They carry water. Tonight, the water in the pipes is very cold. The lead is cold, but the water is moving. If you put your ear against the wall, You might hear it. A faint vibration. Thrummum. It is the circulation system of the house. It does not stop. Outside in the garden, there is a fountain. It has been turned off for the winter to prevent the pipes from bursting. The basin is dry. There are dead leaves in the basin. They are brown and brittle. Snow has covered them. There is a statue of a dolphin in the center of the fountain. The dolphin is frozen in mid-jump. It looks playful, but it is made of stone. It is trapped in the ice of the night. A bird lands on the dolphin's fin. It is an owl, a small Scops owl. It fluffs its feathers. It becomes a round ball of fluff. It rotates its head. Swivel. It looks left, it looks right. Its eyes are large and black. They are designed for this darkness. It sees a mouse in the snow, 30 feet away. But the owl is not hungry, or perhaps it is too cold to fly. It just sits there. It closes its eyes. It becomes a statue on top of a statue. The patience of the owl is legendary. It can sit for hours without moving a muscle. It is the guardian of the garden. The wind shifts. It comes from the north now. It brings colder air from the mountains, from the Alps. The temperature drops another degree. The forbidden touch of the frost tightens its grip. The mortar between the bricks contracts. The wood of the doors shrinks. The world is tightening, huddling in on itself. Let us drift to the edge of the town, to a potter's workshop. The potter has left his work for the night. On the wheel there is a lump of clay. It is wet, gray, cold. He was shaping a bowl, but he stopped. The clay sits there, half-formed. It still shows the marks of his fingers, the ridges where his skin pressed against the spinning earth. Those fingerprints are frozen in time until the morning. The clay is drying slowly. The water is evaporating into the dry winter air. The bowl is becoming lighter. The wheel is still. It is a heavy stone disc on a pivot. It wants to spin, but it rests. Around the room, finished pots sit on shelves. They are the audience. They watch the unfinished bowl. They are silent. There is a bucket of slip, liquid clay on the floor. A thin skin of ice has formed on top of it. If you pressed it, your finger would go through with a satisfying crunch. But we do not press it. We respect the surface. The smell of the room is earthy. It smells of the river bank. It smells of creation. The potter is asleep in the loft above. He is wrapped in a rug. He does not dream. His sleep is black and deep. Like the clay, we move out of the shop. We go to the very edge of the Roman territory. The milestone, Miliarium. It is a granite column by the side of the road. Carved into it are letters. MPX. Mil passes X 10 miles to the city. The stone is indifferent. It has stood there through rain, sun, wind, and snow. It marks the distance. But distance is meaningless when no one is traveling. Tonight the road is empty. The 10 miles are just 10 miles of snow. A fox walks past the milestone. It marks the stone with its scent. This is the only news on the road tonight. The fox continues its patrol. It is a quiet night for the fox. The mice are deep underground. The fox is part of the landscape, an orange shadow on white snow. It moves with a liquid grace. It vanishes into the brush. The milestone remains. We float upwards, high above the milestone. We see the road stretching out like a ribbon. It is straight. The Romans hated curves. They imposed their will on the landscape. Straight lines, order, logic. But the snow softens the lines. It blurs the edges. Nature is reclaiming the geometry. The sky is a vast dome. The constellation of Orion, the giant as some called him, is high in the south. His belt is 3 bright stars. Mintaka alnalim alnatek. They burn with a blue-white light. They have been there for millions of years. They look down on the pyramids. They look down on Rome. They will look down on us. They are the ultimate boring history. They change so slowly that to us, they are eternal. Stare at the middle star of the belt. It flickers. The light has traveled hundreds of years to reach the snow-covered road. It arrives in silence. The universe is vast and cold and mostly empty. Just like this night. There is a comfort in that emptiness. You do not need to fill it. You do not need to fix it. You just need to drift through it. We drift back towards the town. We settle on a rooftop. The tiles are terracotta, curved. They are overlapped like scales on a fish. Snow fills the valleys between the tiles. We sit on the ridge of the roof. We look down at the street. Nothing moves. Absolutely nothing. It is a painting of a town. The silence is so deep you can hear the blood rushing in your own ears. Swish, swish. That is the sound of your own life. It is the only sound that matters right now. The third watch is half over. The sand in the hourglass has run through. The water in the clock has risen. We are suspended in the amber of the night. The king is asleep. The soldier is asleep. The baker is asleep. The women are asleep in their own quarters. The separation is complete. The heat is preserved. The winter is respected. The forbidden touch is simply the wisdom of knowing when to stop, when to be alone, when to be quiet. And that time is now. Feel the peace of the solitude. There is no loneliness here, only aloneness. And aloneness is restful. You are a single point of consciousness in a field of white. Drifting, floating, sleeping. The night stretches out. It is a vast, dark ocean. We are floating in the very center of it. The third watch continues. This is the deepest part of the night, the time when the connection between the waking world and the dreaming world is thinnest. The snow on the ground has stopped accumulating, but the temperature is still dropping. The air is crystalline. If you could see the air, it would look like a lattice of frozen breath. We move away from the rooftops. We drift down into the narrow streets of the artisans. We approach a workshop that smells of the forest. This is the fabrica, the carpenter's shop. The door is shut tight, but the smell of cut wood seeps through the wood itself. Let us go inside. It is pitch black, but our mind's eye can see the details. The floor is covered in sawdust. Soft yellow, fragrant. It lies in drifts, like the snow outside but warmer. It cushions the floor. If you walked here, your steps would be silent. Huff, huff. Soft steps in the dust. On the workbench there is a piece of wood, a plank of cedar. It has been planed smooth. Imagine the surface. It is perfectly flat. Run your mental hand across it. It is cool but not cold like the stone. Wood holds a memory of the sun. It is smooth as glass but with a texture. You can feel the grain. The lines of the wood run straight and true. Dark lines, light lines. The history of the tree is written here. A thick line for a wet year, a thin line for a dry year. A knot where a branch used to be. The carpenter has left his tools on the bench. An iron chisel, a wooden mallet, a bronze saw. They are arranged in a neat row. The Romans loved order. The metal of the saw blade is cold. It captures a tiny reflection of the starlight coming through the high window. A single, thin line of silver light on the teeth of the saw. On the floor, there are wood shavings. They are curled like ribbons. Spirals of wood. They look like fallen leaves. Pick one up in your mind. It is light, almost weightless. It is fragile. If you squeezed it, it would snap. Snap. But we do not squeeze it, we let it lie there. The smell of the cedar is strong. It is a clean, sharp smell. It clears the mind. It is the smell of building, the smell of structure. But tonight, nothing is being built. The wood is resting, the tools are resting. The glue pot is cold. The glue inside is hard, a block of amber. It waits for the fire of the morning to melt it again. A spider descends from the ceiling on a single thread of silk. It lands on the workbench. It walks across the cedar plank. Its legs are so light they do not disturb the dust. It explores the landscape of the wood. It finds a knot hole. It decides this is a good place. It settles down. It tucks its legs in. It becomes a small dark bump on the wood. The carpenter's shop is a temple of potential, but for now, it is just a quiet room full of smells and shadows. We drift out of the shop. We move towards the center of the town again. We approach the actual temple, the templum. It stands on a high podium. Stone steps lead up to it. The steps are covered in a smooth, unbroken layer of snow. No one has ascended these steps since sunset. The columns are massive, fluted marble. They rise up into the darkness, supporting the heavy triangular pediment. They look like trees made of stone. We float up the steps. We pass between the columns. We enter the portico. It is sheltered here. The wind does not reach. The heavy bronze doors of the temple are closed. They are embossed with patterns of leaves and vines. We pass through the doors. Inside, the air is still, dead still. It smells of incense, frankincense, and myrrh. The smell is old. It has soaked into the stone walls for 100 years. It is a sweet, resinous smell, heavy and holy. In the center of the room stands the statue of the god. It might be Jupiter, or Mars, or Apollo. Tonight, it does not matter. The statue is made of white marble. In the gloom, it glows faintly. The eyes of the statue are blank. They stare forward into the empty room. The god is not sleeping. Gods do not sleep. But he is silent. He is not demanding sacrifices. He is not answering prayers. He is just existing. A massive, heavy presence in the dark. At the feet of the statue, there is a small altar. On the altar, there is a bowl of ash. The remains of a fire burned earlier in the day. The ash is gray and soft. It is cold now. Occasionally, a flake of ash shifts. Puff! A tiny movement caused by the settling of the pile. The silence here is different from the silence in the stable. In the stable, the silence was warm and living. Here, the silence is cold and eternal. It is a heavy silence. It presses against your ears. It is the silence of deep time. The Romans built this temple to last forever. And tonight it feels like it will. The stone floor is polished. It reflects the darkness. We are small in this room. We are insignificant. And that is a relief. We do not need to be important right now. We only need to be observers. We leave the god to his solitude. We float back out through the bronze doors, back into the night air. The contrast is refreshing. The cold air wakes up the skin just for a moment before we numb it again with thought. We move towards the residential district again. We are looking for a garden, a hortus. We find a small, enclosed garden behind a modest house. It is a square of nature in the middle of the city. There are herb beds, rosemary, lavender, sage. They are covered in snow. But underneath the snow, they are green. They are hardy plants. They retain their color even in the frost. If you brushed the snow away, you would see the gray-green leaves of the sage. They are fuzzy, soft to the touch. Rub a leaf between your fingers. The scent is released, pungent and earthy. But we do not touch. We leave the snow undisturbed. There is a fruit tree in the corner, a fig tree. It is bare, its branches are twisted and gnarled. They look like arthritic fingers reaching for the sky. The tree is asleep. Its sap has retreated to the roots. It is in a state of suspended animation. It is waiting for the spring. But it is not impatient. It knows how to wait. Trees are the masters of waiting. A bird's nest sits in the fork of a branch. It is empty. The birds have flown south or are hiding in the eaves. The nest is a small cup of woven grass and mud. It has a cap of snow on it. It looks like a small white mushroom. Everything in the garden is circular. The cycle of seasons, the shape of the nest, the path of the moon. There is a stone bench in the garden. It is cold. Sit on it in your imagination. Feel the cold stone through your clothes. It is a grounding sensation. It connects you to the earth. You are solid, you are heavy, you are here. The wind rustles the dry leaves of a vine on the wall. Scritch and scritch. It sounds like paper. The sound is dry and thin. It is the voice of the winter. Inside the house next to the garden, a family is sleeping. Let us look at the forbidden touch again. The father sleeps on one side of the room, the mother on the other, or perhaps in different rooms entirely. The physician Galen wrote that the innate heat is the source of life. He believed that aging was simply the slow loss of this heat, drying out and cooling down. So the winter was a rehearsal for death. And sleep was a rehearsal for death. But not a scary death, a peaceful one. A returning to the cool, dry state of the stone. So they guard their heat jealously. They wrap themselves in layers. They do not share their warmth, they hoard it. It is a selfish time, a time for the self. There is no community in sleep. Each person is alone in their dream. The father dreams of a vineyard in the sun. The mother dreams of a new tunic. The child dreams of a wooden horse. Their dreams are warm bubbles in the cold night. We leave the garden. We drift towards the Phalonica, the laundry. This is a place of water and work. Large clay vats stand in the courtyard. During the day, workers stomp on clothes in these vats, using water and fuller's earth to clean them. It is hard, messy work. But now the vats are quiet. The water in them is frozen. Discs of ice float on the surface. The clothes are hanging on lines to dry. But they have not dried, they have frozen. Tunic, toga, cloak. They hang stiff and hard. They look like ghosts. Empty shells of people. If you tapped a frozen tunic, it would sound like a drum. Thump. They sway slightly in the breeze. Rigid. Swinging back and forth. They are waiting for the sun to soften them. To make them cloth again. Right now they are sculpture. The smell here is faint. The cold suppresses the smell of the cleaning agents. There is only the smell of wet wool and ice. A cat walks along the top of the wall, overlooking the laundry. It walks carefully, placing each paw with precision. It stops, it looks down at the frozen clothes. It does not understand. It continues on its way. It is looking for a vent, a chimney, a warm spot. It knows the map of the heat in the city better than any human. It knows that the baker's roof is warm. It knows that the smith's wall is warm. It heads there. We follow the cat. We arrive at the ferreria, the blacksmith's shop. The forge is dark. But the anvil is there. A massive block of iron. It sits on a tree stump. It is the altar of work. It is cold and hard. The hammer rests beside it. The floor is black with coal dust and iron filings. It glitters faintly. The smell here is metallic, iron and sulfur. The fire is out, but the heat lingers in the brickwork of the forge. The cat finds a spot near the bricks. It circles 3 times. It lies down. It purrs. The vibration of the purr enters the floor. It is a low-frequency sound, very soothing. It is the sound of contentment. The cat is the king of this moment. It has found warmth. It has found safety. It closes its eyes. The blacksmith is asleep in his house. He has strong arms, hands callous and burned. He sleeps deeply. He does not hear the cat. He does not hear the wind. He is deep in the 3rd watch. The night is static. Nothing is changing. The stars rotate overhead, a slow cosmic wheel. They move 1 degree, 2 degrees, but to us they are still. The North Star, Polaris, though not quite in the same spot then as now, let us imagine the pivot point of the sky. It is the nail on which the sky hangs. It does not move. Everything revolves around it, like the donkeys around the millstone. Round and round. For eternity. It is a comforting geometry. You are part of this circle. You are turning with the earth. You are safe. Let us go to the library, the bibliotheca. It is a room in a wealthy man's house, or perhaps a public collection. Rows of wooden cubbies. Thousands of scrolls. History, philosophy, poetry, agriculture. The words are sleeping. Armavurum cano, I sing of arms in the man. The Aeneid is there, sleeping. The wars of Troy are silent. The shouting of the Greeks is silent. The burning of the ships is cold. It is all just ink on papyrus now. Dust settles on the shelves. It covers the history of the world. A fine gray layer. It mutes the past. The library is a tomb of noise. It is the quietest place in the world. Even the mice respect the library. They do not chew the scrolls hopefully. They scamper past the wisdom of the ages to get to the kitchen. The silence here is intellectual. It is the silence of thought. Imagine sitting in a chair in this library, surrounded by all that knowledge. But you do not need to read it. You just need to know it is there. It is safe. It is recorded. You do not need to remember anything. You can let go. The scroll will remember for you. The ink will hold the words. You can sleep. The air in the library is dry. It smells of old paper and cedar oil used to preserve the scrolls. It is a scholarly smell. A sleepy smell. The 3rd watch is nearing its end. But not yet. There is still time. Time to do nothing. Time to be nothing. Just a consciousness floating in the Roman night. Drifting past the marble columns. Drifting past the frozen laundry. Drifting past the sleeping cat. The world is a diorama. A museum exhibit that has been closed for the night. The lights are out. The visitors have gone home. There is only the exhibits and the watchman. And you are the watchman. But you are off duty. You can close your eyes. The exhibit will be there in the morning. Rome isn't going anywhere. The stone is heavy. The empire is stable for now. The night is long. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slow. Steady. Like the dripping of the water clock. Drip. 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 Let the sound wash over you. Let the cold air numb your worries. Let the warm blankets hold your body. You are a king tonight. A king who avoids the touch of the cold. A king who sleeps alone in his fortress of warmth. And that is a very good thing to be. The night has entered its 4th phase. The Romans called this time Galicinium, the time of the cock crow, but the roosters are silent tonight. They are huddled on their perches, heads tucked under wings, waiting for a dawn that feels like it will never come. The cold has reached its maximum intensity. The stones of the city are soaked in it. The air is brittle with it. We are drifting through a part of the town dedicated to leather, the Sutrinum, the shoemaker's district. The smell here is distinct. Even in the freezing air, the scent of tanned hide lingers. It is a sharp, acidic, earthy smell. We enter a shop. It is small and cluttered. On the workbench there are scraps of leather, cowhide, goat skin. They are stiff. The cold has hardened them. If you bent a piece of leather now, it would resist. It would groan. Kriyak. There are tools scattered on the bench. Awls with wooden handles, curved needles of bronze. Knives with crescent-shaped blades. The metal blades are frosted. A thin, white lace of ice covers the sharp edges. The tools are sleeping. They have cut and stitched all day. Now they rest. There is a partially finished sandal on a wooden last, a model of a foot. The sandal is heavy, a military boot, a caliga. The hobnails have been hammered into the sole. Iron studs. They shine dully in the dark. Imagine the sound of the hammer hitting the nail. Clack, clack. But that sound is gone. Now there is only the silence of the finished object. The shoe waits for the soldier. The soldier waits for the dawn. There is a pot of grease on the table, tallow, used to waterproof the boots. It is solid white, like a candle. A fly is stuck in the surface of the grease. It landed there when the grease was warm and liquid. Now it is trapped. Preserved. A tiny fossil of the day. The shoemaker sleeps in the back. He is an old man with strong, stained hands. He snores. HRRRKKK, PFFFF. His rhythm joins the rhythm of the night. The shop is a capsule of utility, things designed to protect human skin from the rough earth. That is the theme of the night, protection. Layers. Leather against stone, wool against air, walls against wind. We drift out of the shoemaker's shop. We move down the street. The snow is pristine, no footprints. We approach a large, heavy gate. This is the entrance to the Ludus, the gladiator school. Do not worry, there is no fighting here, no blood, no crowds. Tonight the arena is empty sand. The Ludus is just a dormitory for tired men. We float into the barracks. The cells are small, stone boxes. Inside each cell, a man is sleeping. These are men of immense physical power. But in sleep they are vulnerable, they are soft. Look at one of them. He is lying on his back. His arm hangs off the side of the cot. His hand is relaxed, the fingers are curled slightly. This hand holds a sword during the day. Now it holds nothing but air. The muscles in his arm are loose, the tension is gone. He is dreaming. Perhaps he dreams of his home far away, in Thrace or Gaul or Africa. He dreams of a warm sun, of a river, of a mother's voice. He does not dream of the arena. The mind protects itself. The room smells of oil, olive oil used to massage the muscles. It is a clean, vegetal smell. The oil on his skin helps keep the heat in. Another layer. The gladiator shifts. Rustle. He turns to the side. He pulls the rough blanket up to his chin. He is just a man trying to stay warm. In the courtyard of the Ludus, the practice dummies stand. Wooden posts wrapped in straw and leather. They stand like silent sentinels. They are covered in snow. They look like snowmen built by giants. The wooden swords, rudies, are racked against the wall. They are harmless sticks of wood tonight. The violence of the day has evaporated. It has been absorbed by the night. The silence here is heavy. It is a respectful silence. The rest of the warrior is a deep rest. We leave the Ludus. We drift towards the aqueduct that feeds the town. We follow the line of arches back towards the source. We find a Casella McQuee, a water distribution tower. Here, the water from the main channel is divided into pipes for the city. It is a stone chamber. The sound of water is louder here. Rush. It is dark water, cold water. It flows through sluice gates. The gates are made of bronze. They are green with oxidation. The water swirls around them. It is a chaotic, turbulent motion, but contained within stone walls. There is a tank here, a settling tank, where the water slows down to let the sediment drop to the bottom. Let us sink into the tank. The water is black. It is freezing. But down at the bottom, in the mud, it is quiet. Particles of sand drift down. Slowly, drifting, landing on the soft bed of the tank. This is the filtration of the empire, cleaning the water while the city sleeps. It is a patient process. Gravity doing the work. Time doing the work. There is no need for machines, just nature and stone. We float back up to the surface. We leave the water tower. We are near the edge of the industrial district. There is a glassblower's workshop here. The furnace is out, but it is still warm. Glass needs a lot of heat. There are finished vessels on the cooling rack. Blue glass, green glass, clear glass. They are delicate. In the moonlight coming through the window, they glow. Ghostly shapes. Bottles for perfume, jars for oil, cups for wine. They are cold to the touch, smooth, slippery. Glass is a strange material. It is a solid liquid. It flows, but over centuries. Tonight it is still. The tools of the glassblower are long iron rods. They lean against the wall. They look like spears, but they are instruments of creation, not destruction. The floor is crunchy with broken shards, cullet. If you walked here, it would sound like walking on ice. Crinkled crack. We float over the shards without touching them. We are weightless. We are pure observation. The night is moving towards the 5th hour of the watch, the darkest hour before the hint of dawn. But there is no hint yet. The sky is a solid block of black onyx. The stars have rotated further. The plow Ursa Major is swinging low in the north. The Great Bear. It is prowling the horizon. We drift back to the residential streets. We enter the house of a musician. There is a lyre leaning against a chair. It is made of tortoise shell and wood. The strings are gut. They are tight. The cold makes them tighter. If you listened very, very closely, you might hear the wood groaning under the tension. HMMMM. The instrument is pregnant with sound, but it is silent. It waits for the fingers. But the fingers are under a blanket. The musician is asleep. He breathes through his nose, a soft whistle. Wee. Shoo. The music of sleep. On a table there is a scroll of music notation, or perhaps poetry. It is rolled up. The words are hidden. The potential for beauty is there, stored away. Conservation, that is the word. Conserving beauty, conserving heat, conserving energy. The forbidden touch is the touch that disturbs this conservation. To play the lyre now would be to break the spell, to wake the silence. It is forbidden by the law of the night. So the lyre sits, the strings hold their tension. We move to the kitchen of this house. There is a bowl of eggs on the table. Brown eggs, speckled eggs. They are perfect shapes, ovals. Nature's packaging. They are cold. Inside the shell, the yolk and the white are suspended. Liquid life. Waiting for the heat of the morning fire. But for now, they are just cold stones. A cockroach skitters across the floor. It is searching for crumbs. It moves fast. Scuttle. It stops its antennae wave. It senses the vibration of the house. It is a survivor. It has been here before the Romans. It will be here after. It finds a crumb of bread. It eats. It is a tiny, secret feast in the dark. The wind outside changes direction. It comes from the east now. It brings a slightly different scent, the smell of the marshes, the smell of the sea. It is faint. The wind buffets the tiles on the roof. Rattle. Just one loose tile. It lifts and drops. Clack. Then silence. Then clack. It is the heartbeat of the roof. We drift up to the roof to inspect it. The tile is old. It has a crack. Moss grows in the crack. The moss is frozen, hard green velvet. Ice crystals have formed on the tips of the moss. Tiny stars of ice. We sit on the roof and look out over the city. It is a necropolis of sleep. Thousands of people, all unconscious, all traveling in the land of Nod. It is a peaceful thought. No one is arguing, no one is fighting, no one is cheating. Everyone is innocent in their sleep. The snow reflects the starlight. It creates a diffuse glow. You can see the shapes of the hills beyond the city walls. Dark humps against the sky. They look like sleeping animals. The world is just a collection of sleeping shapes. We drift down again. We find a stray cat, not the one from the blacksmith's, another one. This one is orange. It is walking through the snow. It lifts its paws high to avoid the wet. It is unhappy about the snow. It shakes a paw. Flicking. Water droplets fly off. It walks to a door. It scratches. Scritch is gritch. It wants to be let in. But no one comes. The house is sealed. The cat sighs in its own way. It curls up on the doormat. The mat is made of woven rush. It is slightly warmer than the stone. The cat tucks its nose in. It accepts its fate. It waits. This acceptance is stoic. The Romans prided themselves on stoicism. Accepting the cold, accepting the wait, accepting the night. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, might be sleeping in a tent on the frontier right now. He is writing his meditations, or perhaps he is sleeping. Unrestrained by the future, he might say. Tonight we are unrestrained. We are just here. In the dark. We float through the wall of the house. The cat is guarding. Inside there is a smell of lavender. It is the linen closet. Piles of sheets, piles of towels. They are folded neatly. Clean, white, soft. There is nothing more boring and more comforting than a stack of clean linen. It implies order. It implies civilization. It implies a bed made fresh. The fabric is cold, but it smells of summer flowers. We rest here for a moment, surrounded by the soft walls of wool and flax. It is quiet, muffled. Safe. The fourth watch is ticking away. The water clock in the basilica drips on. The sand in the hourglass runs out. The stars wheel overhead. But we do not feel the time passing. We only feel the stillness. The deep, resonant stillness of the Roman winter. Imagine the color blue, a deep, dark indigo. That is the color of this hour. Not black, but a very deep blue. The color of the sky just before the idea of dawn exists. The color of the sea at night. Bathe in this color. Let it soak into your mind. Cool, calming, infinite. There is no red of anger, no yellow of anxiety. Only blue. And white snow. And gray stone. A simple palette for a simple time. We are nearing the end of the darkest period. But we are not rushing towards the light. We are savoring the dark. The dark is a blanket. Pull it tight. Tuck it in. The forbidden touch of the cold is outside. You are warm. You are whole. You are resting. The Roman Empire can run itself for a few hours. It does not need you. And that is the greatest freedom of all. To not be needed. To just be. Sleep is the ultimate liberty. And tonight you are free. We are deep in the fourth watch. The Romans called this time Antelucanum, the time before the light. It is the stretch of night that feels infinite. The sun is a distant memory, and the dawn is only a rumor. The temperature has hit the absolute floor. It will not get colder than this. The world is frozen solid. We drift away from the sleeping city for a moment. We float over the walls, past the frozen fields towards the hills. There is a shepherd here. He is the most solitary figure in the empire. He sits on a rock outcrop. He is wrapped in a cloak of unwashed wool. It is thick, greasy, and smells of the sheep. It renders him waterproof. It renders him windproof. He is a lump of gray against the black sky. His flock is nearby. A sea of wool. 50 sheep, huddled together in a natural depression in the ground. They are a single organism, a carpet of warmth. They do not move, they do not bleat. They simply breathe. Hua! The cloud of steam rising from the flock is visible in the starlight. It hangs over them like a low fog. The shepherd watches the steam. He does not touch the sheep. He does not need to. He knows they are there by the sound of their breathing and the smell of the lanolin. His dog lies at his feet, a large Molossian hound. It is curled into a tight ball. Its tail covers its nose. The dog opens one eye to look at the shepherd. The shepherd does not move. The dog closes the eye. There is a trust here, a silent pact between man, beast, and hill. The shepherd looks at the stars. He knows them better than the astronomers in Alexandria. He uses them to tell time. He sees that the Great Bear has rotated. He sees that the Pleiades are sinking. He knows that dawn is 2 hours away. 2 hours of cold. He pulls his hands inside his sleeves, skin against skin. He preserves his vital heat. Let us go into the mind of this shepherd for a moment. He is not thinking of philosophy. He is not thinking of the emperor. He is thinking of a stone. A warm stone from the summer. He holds the memory of that heat in his mind. He visualizes the sun hitting the rock. This mental exercise helps him survive. The wind blows across the hill. Woovio. It is a lonely sound, a sound that has traveled for miles without hitting anything. It passes through the grass. The grass is frozen, the blades are stiff. They click together. Tick, tick, tick. Like thousands of tiny insects. But there are no insects, only the ice on the grass. We leave the shepherd to his vigil. He is the guardian of the perimeter. We drift back towards the city. We re-enter the gates. We go to the house of a learned man, a follower of the great physician Galen. We enter his study. It is cold here. The brazier has gone out. The ash is white. On the table, there are medical instruments. Bronze scalpels, forceps, probes. They are arranged on a linen cloth. They are incredibly cold. If you touched one, it would burn with the frost. There are scrolls open on the table. Let us look at the text. It is Greek therapeutin. It speaks of the humors. Blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. It speaks of the innately hot and the innately cold. The physician believes that sleep is the cooling of the blood, a necessary retreat of the heat to the interior of the body. Digestion, he believes, happens best during sleep because the heat is concentrated in the stomach. So the Roman dinner, the cena, was eaten late. And now all across the city, that digestion is happening. It is a slow, chemical fire burning in the bellies of thousands of sleepers, turning grain and wine into flesh and bone. It happens without their knowledge. The body is a factory that works the night shift. In the corner of the room, there is a jar of leeches, used for bloodletting. The water in the jar is cold. The leeches are motionless. They hang in the water like black ribbons. They are waiting for warmth. They are waiting for blood. But tonight they starve. They are patient. They can wait for months. The physician is asleep in the next room. He is old. His beard is gray. He sleeps with a heavy cap on his head to keep his brain warm. He believes the brain is a cooling mechanism for the heart, a radiator. So he covers it. He dreams of anatomy. He dreams of veins and arteries. Red lines in the dark. The house settles. Creak. A timber in the roof shifts. The sound echoes through the silent house. We move to the lararium, the household shrine. Every Roman house has one. Little statues of the ancestors. They are made of wax or wood or terracotta. They stand in a small niche. They watch the house. They are the ultimate observers. They have seen the grandfather sleep. They have seen the father sleep. They see the son sleep. They are the continuity. They do not get cold. They do not need blankets. They just stand there, smiling their faint, painted smiles. In the kitchen, the embers in the hearth are almost dead. But deep inside the pile of ash, there is still a spark. A tiny red heart. The slave who tends the fire knows how to bank it. He covered the coals with ash. This cuts off the oxygen but keeps the heat. It is a suspended animation for the fire. In the morning, he will uncover it. He will blow on it. Puff, and the fire will be reborn. But for now, the fire sleeps too. The concept of banking the fire is exactly what the people are doing. They have banked their lives for the night, covered themselves in ash blankets, reduced the oxygen slow breathing, waiting for the breath of the morning. We drift into the pantry again. We look at a jar of garum, fish sauce, the essential condiment of Rome. It is a dark amber liquid, salty, pungent. It does not freeze easily because of the salt, but it is thick. It sits in the amphora. It smells of the sea, of fermentation. It is a strong, aggressive smell, but in the cold it is muted. It is just a memory of a smell. Next to it, a string of garlic. The papery skins of the cloves rustle if a mouse runs past. Crinkle. The garlic is dormant. It holds its sharp flavor inside the clove, sealed tight. Everything is sealed. The doors are barred, the shutters are latched, the jars are corked, the eyes are closed. It is a world of closed containers. We float through the floor into the drain. The Romans were famous for their sewers, the cloaca. Under the street there is a tunnel. It is made of brick, arched strong. Water flows here, wastewater runoff. It flows towards the river. It is a dark, wet underworld. There are rats here. They are the citizens of the dark. They move along the ledges of the sewer. They are not scurrying in panic. They are exploring. Their whiskers twitch. They smell the damp brick. They are comfortable here. It is warmer in the sewer than on the street. The decomposition of the waste creates heat. So the rats stay here. They are part of the ecosystem. They clean the city from below. We leave the sewer. It is too damp. We return to the surface. The air is cleaner here. The sky is beginning to change. Not to light, but to a different kind of dark. The deep indigo is shifting to a charcoal gray. Very, very subtly. The stars are becoming slightly less brilliant. The atmosphere is thickening. This is the false dawn, the moment when the sky lightens before the sun is anywhere near the horizon. The birds sense it first. High in a cypress tree, a crow shifts on its branch. It does not call, It just opens its eyes. It looks east. It waits. It tucks its head back in. Not yet. The sleep continues. We move to the barracks of the Praetorian Guard, or perhaps just the local vigils. The elite soldiers. They have better blankets, furs. They sleep in a room that is slightly warmer. One soldier is dreaming of a woman. But in the dream she is far away, across a river. He cannot reach her. The river is ice. He stands on the bank, he waves. She waves back. But they do not touch. The forbidden touch exists even in the dreamscape. The cold of the winter permeates the subconscious. He wakes up. He blinks in the dark. He feels the warmth of his own body. He realizes he is alone. He is relieved. He turns over. The leather straps of his bed creak. He goes back to sleep. The logic of the winter prevails. Solitude is safety. We move to the market square. The empty stalls. The wooden counters are bare. Snow has drifted against the legs of the tables. It looks like white sand dunes. A stray cat, the orange one we saw earlier, has found a shelter. It is under a cart. The cart is covered with a tarp. The cat is curled on a pile of empty sacks. It is asleep. Its breathing is audible. Per huff, per huff. It is the most peaceful sound in the square. The wind has died down completely. This is the dead calm. The moment of absolute zero motion. The flag on the governor's palace hangs limp. The smoke from the chimneys rises straight up, a gray pillar. The trees stop swaying. The world is holding its breath. This is the 0 hour. The moment between the night and the morning. It is a suspended chord in a piece of music, waiting for the resolution. But the resolution is slow. We have time. We can inspect the paving stones of the road again. Basalt. Polygon shapes. Fitted together perfectly. They are cold, hard, eternal. They have felt the sandals of legions, the wheels of chariots. Now they feel the snow. They do not care. They are stone. Be like the stone. Feel the hardness of the bed beneath you. Feel the support. You do not need to hold yourself up. The bed holds you. The floor holds the bed. The earth holds the floor. You are supported by the entire planet. You can let go of your muscles. Let go of the tension in your neck. Let go of the tension in your jaw. The Roman soldier has let go. The shepherd has let go. The world is safe. The king is safe in his cold isolation. He is not touching anyone. He is preserving his fire. He is wise. Follow the wisdom of the king. Stay in your fortress. Stay in your warmth. We drift towards a window in a bakery. The baker is waking up. Just him. He moves in the dark. He does not light a lamp yet. He knows the room by heart. He moves towards the oven. He scrapes the ash away from the vent. He opens the flue. He adds a small handful of straw. He blows on the coals. Woo-woo. A glow appears. Red, then orange. The straw catches. A small yellow flame dances. It illuminates his face. He looks tired but peaceful. He adds a piece of wood. The fire grows. But the rest of the town is still dead asleep. The baker is the pilot light of the city. He starts the engine. But it is a quiet engine. The dough we watched earlier has risen fully. It is a high, soft pillow of white. He touches it. His finger leaves a dent. The dent fills back in slowly. The dough is alive. He begins to shape the loaves. Pat, pat, roll. Pat, pat, roll. The sound is rhythmic, soft. Flower dust flies into the air. It sparkles in the firelight. But outside the snow is blue. The transition has begun. The antilucan is ending. The diliculum, the dawn, is approaching. But it is still dark. The light is only a suggestion, a promise. We are not there yet. We are still in the comfort of the shadow. We drift away from the bakery. We do not want to wake up yet. We want to stay in the dark. We go back to the library. The scrolls are still sleeping. The words are still silent. We find a corner in the library. There is a heavy velvet chair. We sit in it. We watch the dust motes. They are moving slightly faster now. The heat from the baker's fire is creating tiny currents in the air of the city. The world is starting to circulate. But only just. The heartbeat of the city is rising from 40 beats per minute to 45. It is still a sleep state. The forbidden touch is still in effect. The separation remains. The cold remains. The silence remains. The ninth part of our journey is the bridge between the deep night and the early morning. It is a bridge made of ice. Walk across it slowly. Do not run. There is no rush to get to the other side. The other side is work. The other side is noise. Stay on the bridge. Look down at the river. The water is black and silver. It flows endlessly, carrying the night away towards the sea, carrying your thoughts away, leaving you empty, leaving you clean, leaving you ready for sleep, or ready for more sleep, deeper sleep, the kind of sleep that heals the bones, the kind of sleep that the Romans valued above all else in the winter, the sleep of the bear, the sleep of the stone, the sleep of the earth. The wheel of the sky has turned. We have reached the final watch, the diliculum, the little light. It is not day yet, it is the gray hour. The darkness is lifting, but it is not leaving. It is simply diluting. The indigo of the sky is fading into a soft, pale slate. The stars are disappearing. One by one. The smallest stars vanish first. They are swallowed by the gray. Then the medium stars. Finally, only the morning star remains, Venus. She hangs low in the east, a brilliant, lonely diamond. She is cold and beautiful. She watches the sleeping empire. The transition from night to morning in winter is a slow process. It is not a flip of a switch. It is a gradual unveiling. We drift back to the bakery. The fire is fully established now. The oven is hot. The baker has placed the loaves inside. Round loaves, divided into 8 wedges, panis quadratus. They sit on the hot brick floor of the oven. The heat surrounds them. The dough springs up, the oven spring. The crust begins to form. It turns from pale white to gold, then to brown. The smell of baking bread begins to seep out of the oven. It fills the room. It seeps under the door. It drifts into the street. It is the smell of civilization. It is the smell of a promise kept, the promise that there will be food in the morning. The baker wipes his hands on his apron. He sits on a stool. He watches the oven door. He is tired but satisfied. He has beaten the cold. He has created heat. Outside, the first bird wakes up. It is a rooster far away, on a farm at the edge of town. He crows. The sound is muffled by the snow. It sounds distant, dreamlike. It is not an alarm. It is just a note in the song of the morning. A second rooster answers him, even further away. Then silence again. The birds in the eaves of the houses are waking up. Sparrows. They fluff their feathers. They shake the ice from their wings. Chirp. Just one chirp. They are not ready to fly yet. It is too cold. They huddle together for a few more minutes. The forbidden touch of the winter is still dangerous. The air is at its coldest point right now, the dawn chill. The stone of the buildings is soaked through with freezing temperatures. But inside the houses, the heat has held. The thick walls have done their job. The blankets have done their job. The sleeper is still warm. We float through the streets. The light is changing the color of the snow. It is no longer blue, it is gray-white. The shadows are softening. The sharp edges of the night are blurring. We see a figure walking down the street. It is a slave. He is carrying a bundle of wood. He walks quietly. His sandals leave fresh prints in the snow. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound is crisp. He is going to light the hypocaust for the master. He enters the side door of the villa. He disappears. Smoke begins to rise from the chimney. A thin gray wisp. It climbs straight up into the still air. It joins the smoke from the bakery. The city is waking up, but only its lungs. The people are still asleep. The emperor, let us imagine Marcus Aurelius again, wakes in his camp. He opens his eyes. He sees the gray light filtering through the tent flap. He does not jump up. He lies there. He thinks about the nature of the cold. He thinks about the stoic acceptance of the season. Everything is part of the whole, he thinks. The winter is necessary, the rest is necessary. He feels the wool of his blanket. He is alone. He has avoided the touch that drains the energy. He feels strong. His vital heat is preserved. He will be able to command the legions today. He will be able to write his philosophy. But for now, he enjoys the last few moments of solitude. He closes his eyes again. Just for a moment. Back in the town, the ice on the fountain is revealed by the light. It is thick. It has formed complex shapes during the night. Icicles hang from the dolphin's nose. They look like crystal teeth. They catch the gray light. They do not sparkle yet. They just glow with a dull inner light. A drop of water forms at the tip of an icicle. It hangs there. It does not fall. It freezes in place, adding to the length of the ice. The process of freezing continues even as the light comes. We move to the market square. The statues of the gods look different in the daylight. They look more real, more human. The snow on their shoulders looks like a cloak. A stray dog stretches. It yawns, a massive jaw-stretching yawn. It shakes its body, starting from the head down the spine to the tail. Shaka, shaka, shaka. It trots off towards the bakery. It smells the bread. The life of the day is beginning. But it is a slow beginning. There is no rush hour in ancient Rome. There is only the slow movement of the sun. We drift up to the city wall. The guard at the gate is rubbing his arms. He sees a cart approaching from the distance. A farmer bringing vegetables. The cart moves slowly. The oxen are breathing heavy clouds of steam. The wheels creak. Iyararari. The sound travels for miles in the cold air. The guard watches it come. He has watched it for 20 minutes. It is still far away. This is the pace of history. Slow, inevitable, boring. The sun has not broken the horizon yet. We are in the twilight. The colors of the world are returning. The terracotta roof tiles are turning from black to rusty red. The pine trees are turning from black to dark green. The sky is turning from gray to a very pale blue. It is a watercolor painting being painted in real time. Very slowly, we return to the bedroom of the ordinary citizen. The man we saw at the beginning, the one with the brazier. He is still asleep. But his sleep is lighter now. He is in the REM phase, dreaming vivid dreams. He dreams of the summer harvest. He dreams of the sun on his face. The contrast between the dream and the reality is sharp. Outside, ice. Inside, dreams of fire. This is the balance. The room is still warm. The brazier is dead, but the heat remains in the stones. He turns over. He pulls the blanket tighter. He is not ready to face the cold yet. And he doesn't have to. The Roman concept of odium, leisure, rest, is important, especially in winter. There is no guilt in sleeping late when the fields are frozen. The earth is sleeping late, why shouldn't he? We float out of the window. We look at the window pane. Frost has formed on the inside of the shutters. Fern-like patterns. Feathers of ice. They are delicate masterpieces. They will melt when the sun hits them. But for now, they are perfect. The forbidden touch has created art. The interaction of the warm breath of the sleeper and the cold wood of the shutter. We drift higher. We can see the whole town now. It is a patch of organized white shapes in a landscape of wild white shapes. The roads are lines drawn in snow. The smoke from the chimneys is the only movement. It is a peaceful scene. It looks like a model. The silence is broken only by the distant sounds of waking. A door opening, creak. A bucket hitting the water in a well, splash. A voice calling out softly. Marcus. Lucius. Low voices, respectful of the morning. The light grows stronger. The morning star fades. The sky is now a clear, hard blue. The rim of the sun appears over the eastern hills. It is not a burst of heat, it is a cold light. But it is light. It touches the top of the watchtower. The stone turns gold. It touches the top of the temple. The marble turns pink. It touches the tops of the trees. The light slides down the buildings like honey, slowly illuminating the city. Floor by floor. It hits the snow on the roof. The snow sparkles. Now it is blinding white. The night is over. But the feeling of the night remains. The slowness remains. The calm remains. The king has survived the night. He has avoided the cold. He has kept his power. He wakes up in his bed. He feels the warmth of his own skin. He is content. The history book is closed. There were no battles tonight. No great speeches. No dramatic deaths. Just the snow falling. Just the wood burning. Just the people sleeping. This is the history that matters. The history of survival. The history of comfort. You have survived the night too. You have walked through the Roman winter. You have felt the cold stone and the warm wool. You have seen the fire and the ice. Now the sun is up. But you do not need to wake up. The sun is for the Romans of the year 120 AD. You are not there. You are here. Safe in your own time. Safe in your own bed. The story is over. The boring history is finished. The scroll is rolled up. The ink is dry. The scribe puts down his pen. He blows out the candle, even though the sun is up. Just to be sure. He rests his head on the desk. The dust settles in the library. The dust settles in the bakery. The dust settles in your mind. Everything is still. Everything is quiet. Everything is good. The forbidden touch was a rule for the cold. But the warmth has won. The warmth always wins in the end. Sleep now. Drift away from Rome. Drift away from the snow. Drift into your own warm dark. The video ends here. The screen goes black. The sound fades. Silence.